And hello! How is everybody tonight? I hope everybody is great. I got free cup of coffee.
Green beans.
And more coffee. And then I have another cup of coffee.
I just have water.
Here. And Amanda! Yay! I haven't seen you forever. How are you?
It's been like a fucking week ago.
No, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. It feels like it's forever.
Well, everything kind of runs together with this bullshit. So,
hi. I know. It's YouTube. It happens like that. Hi, sweetheart.
No, I meant the awful fucking burning wreck that is my life.
Wait a minute, say that again?
I meant the awful burning wreckage that is my life.
Yeah, that's how I was about 2 months ago, so I get it. My whole life just collapsed. I had no job, no insurance, no girlfriend, just lost everything. So, and actually I texted her, this is interesting news for anybody that wants to know or gives a fuck.
Oh my God, Sadie.
Sadie is really cold. Sadie, what you can do is you can get an object or something to stand on or something, a long object, and close the vent in your bedroom so it's not so
on the
cold.
Floor.
Okay, close it then. It's fine. Just close it down halfway and you won't freeze as bad.
I think it's the intake or something.
Anyways, so I texted Heather and I said, hey, the ex, and I said, hey, I need my termination letter because I'm trying to get insurance and I need proof that I don't have any. So I need to show that I got fired and that show I have this new job that doesn't provide insurance, right? So I have to have both things. And so she's like, oh, I thought that Shannon got that to you. I'm sorry. And I was like, no, it's okay. I know you guys have been busy. It's fine. But I did ask her for it like 3 days after I got fired. It's been about 2 months now. So, it'd be nice to have it. And she's like, I apologize. I'll mail it to you. Can I email it to you? What's the best way for you? I said, just email it to me. It's fine. She's like, okay. So, she's like, how are you? And I'm like, well, work, blah, 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 nothing much. I'm like, how are you? And she's like, oh, work, blah, 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 blah. Kids, okay, blah, 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 nothing much. And so we just, thank you, Amanda. The princess gets riled up sometimes. No, it's okay. We know how she is. It's fine. She's a sweetheart.
We're in a hotel, so like everything everybody walks by. Are you really?
Oh, yeah. No, for work now, I travel and we drive a box truck around. And our boss puts us up in hotels every night. So, yeah. Anyways, so we were just kind of like, how have you been? What's going on? And she started joking around me. I started joking around back. And she's like, I'm sorry, this is probably weird. You want me to back off? And I said, no. I said, I love talking and laughing with you. Like, we do it so well, And she's like, yeah. She said, I like doing the same with you. And I said, I just don't see any reason why, because I said to her, I want you to know I'm not mad or anything. I don't hold any resentment or anything. And she said, I'd never held any resentment against you. She said, but I was upset, but I'm not anymore. And I said, same here, And so I said, I just don't see any reason why we can't be friends and support each other through this crazy fucking shit of life. And, we can still be in each other's lives. We don't have to be together. We could be friends and support each other still. And she said, I agree 100%. So, she invited me and my brother Richard over for dinner because she used to have us over for dinner. Like she'd invite him over when I was over there and we'd had such a good time, like sitting and talking, and she'd make this big fucking mess of food, half vegan for my brother, half full of meat for us, So we had a good time doing that. So she was like, I'm just hanging out with you and Richard. You guys should come to dinner. So I talked to my brother and he's like, yeah, of course I'll go. And, so then when my sister's coming into town, I really wanted those two to meet because they're like so much alike. They're like fucking cardboard cutouts of each other almost. Except Heather doesn't fall for the religious bullshit like my sister does, but that's okay. So anyway, so I said, well, my sister's coming into town in June. We're going to go out to dinner. Do you want to come with me and Richard and her? And she's like, oh my God, that would be great. Would she be okay with it? I'm like, invite whoever I want. She's coming to visit me. But anyways, so yeah, we're gonna give it a shot of being friends and just kind of supporting each other. Am I gonna be the only
fucking voice of reason here? Really?
What?
Beck.
What?
I do not want you to get hurt. I do not want this.
I'm not going to get hurt. That's why we're going to be friends. That's the point. We're not dating. We're just going to be friends.
I know, but like, okay.
What?
Just please be careful.
Well, she's not the only. I fucked up just as bad as she did. I blew up at work. How could I get mad? I mean, I got mad at her for firing me, but it wasn't that I really got fired. It's just how she handled it that upset me. I knew I deserved to be fired. I fucking lost my shit at work. I had a fucking PTSD flare up like 4 times in a couple of weeks. I can't blame anybody for not getting upset with me. The main thing that upset me about the whole thing was how she handled it. And I think really what it really boils down to is she was afraid I was going to walk out the door and walk out of her life and we weren't going to be friends anymore. And that's why she was afraid to say anything to me. And then when I blew up the last time, that was the last straw. So, but I've had a revelation, Amanda. You missed my revelation.
What was your revelation?
Okay, so Oz was talking about abuse and guilt that the church will put on you, and the abuse they, kids and I was like, who the hell let themselves in?
Hey, Mr. Van.
The only guy that can. I bet.
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, so Oz was being really open and he was talking about it and he was crying and we were all just like, everybody was in their feelings in the chat. You know what I mean? Like everybody was being honest and saying, oh, this happened to me when I was a kid. And, this is the kind of punishment we got. And this is the kind of, this was abuse or this wasn't abuse or whatever. And then when they got onto the guilt thing, so I was already thinking about like my childhood and my mom and all this stuff, right? And they got onto the guilt thing and Brian Stevens put in the chat something to the effect of, I'm not sure exactly how he said it, something to the effect of, why should anybody feel guilty unless they went out intentionally and did something that they knew was wrong? And I was like, oh my God, he's fucking right. Like, I got a little dizzy. My whole body got goosebumps on it. My stomach flipped. My heart started pounding. And it just hit me like, it was an accident. I didn't go out to kill my mother. And another revelation. 10 days before the accident happened, my brother was at our house. I wasn't there. I had no idea he came by. And he was living with his wife like 10 miles up the road at the time or something. And she said, hey, something's wrong with the car. Can you come look at it? So he comes by and looks at it and says, Mom, don't drive this car. It's really dangerous. It's a $10 part. Let me go buy the part and I'll put it on your car. And she's like, no, I'll take care of it. It's my responsibility. That's called pride, folks. That's fucking called pride right there. So 10 days later, we're driving the car that she never fixed. So on Monday, for the first time, I yelled at my mother. I got mad at her. And I yelled at her for not fucking taking care of the car and being prideful and not letting my brother do it. Because the bottom line is, the front end of that car was fucked. And we shouldn't have been driving it. And if I would have known, Richard said, did you even know that something was wrong to the point of you could have killed somebody? I said, brother, I was fucking barely 18. I didn't even think about the fact that when you drive out of the driveway, you could kill somebody. Never mind with a fucked up car. You're 18. You don't think about that shit. You're just happy you're driving. You feel more like an adult, Oh, Mom, let me drive, You don't think about consequences at 18. Like, at least I didn't. We were sheltered. And I also blame my mother for that too. Because she didn't discuss adult stuff with us. So when I hit 18 and she was gone, I didn't know what to do. I was like, how do you adult? I just didn't know. And I got thrown out in the world where everybody else could go off and call her and go, Mom, I got a problem. Mom, I got a problem. I get thrown out in the world. I have no mom to call. And the bottom line is, it's her fault. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me to say that. And I want to start crying right now, but it's her fucking fault. And I got to quit ruining my life over it, man. I've already spent 2/3 of my life fucking guilty and hating myself and thinking I'm not good enough. It's time. I got to stop it. It's not my fucking fault. That's why it's called an accident. If it was my fault, they would throw me in jail. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. So anyways, that's my big revelation for anybody that missed it. So,
Beck.
The bottom line is, I think life is too short to fucking hold shit against people when I was guilty too. That's the bottom. As much as I was mad at her, I was guilty too. I fucked up. I freaked out when she tried to break up with me and fucking lost my shit. And when she backed away from me and had space, I freaked out. And Dr. Lorenko, and I freaked out. And I took on too much at work and I was overwhelmed and I did it to myself. I should have just let the shit fall to the wayside and make her do it as the fucking office manager. But I didn't want Heather to fail. So I kept taking on more and more and more. And next thing I knew, everybody else was just going about their day like regular, and I'm running in circles like a little fucking ping pong ball, just bing, 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 bing from one place to the other, driving myself fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had a part in it too. I mean, I feel like what she did is more fucked up, but at least she's trying to make amends with me and stuff. And, and if we can be friends, we can be friends. We're great at that. We got along so good. Well, no, it wasn't even our relationship. It was honestly, hey, kitty. It was just honestly, just everything. It was just everything fell apart at once. Shit was going wrong with her kids. Shit was going wrong with her mother. Shit was going wrong with her sister. She had family getting COVID and getting really sick, and just a lot of things happening at once. She had a patient die of cancer and another patient get diagnosed, and like there's just a lot of shit going on at once. And I was so short-sighted by my hurt feelings that I couldn't see the whole picture until a few weeks ago when I really looked at the whole picture and realized that I fucked up too. It wasn't just her.
Is she getting therapy?
I don't know. We haven't talked that far yet. We've just kind of BS'd a little bit and said that we'd like to go to dinner with she said she'd like to have me and Richard over for dinner sometime, and she misses hanging out with us and feeding us. And I said, well, she said, is this weird? I'll back off. And I said, I don't see any reason why we can't be friends and support each other. I just don't see any reason. We're both good people.
Yeah, you can be.
We both made errors. We both freaked out and got too emotional. I mean, I can't hold it against her. But if she's not getting shit.
Yeah, no, but if she's not getting therapy, like she absolutely needs to do that. So
I am not dating her. I know, but as a friend, I know.
But either way,
she does.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing Amanda said was, "Don't go there," and I was like, "No, we're not dating. We're literally."
Well, yeah, because
she said to me, "Is this too weird? Should I leave you alone?" And I said, "No, it's not weird." I said, "We're just laughing and joking around like we used to. I don't see anything wrong with that. I love laughing and joking around with people." And then she said, "Oh, okay. I didn't know if this was, because we haven't talked in a while, and I didn't know where you were at." And I said, "I don't have any resentment. My anger's gone. I'm over it. I know what I did. I know what you did, and I'm fine, And I said, I just don't see a reason why we can't be friends and help each other through this chaotic life that we're all living. And she said, I agree 100%.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't bring some of the similar maladaptive mechanisms into the friendship, because that can still happen. So you're right. She needs to be getting therapy because she's still got it. Because you can turn a friendship into a problem as well if you're not.
Oh, absolutely.
Actively.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Beck, we talked about this briefly about that friend of mine, and I had to cut it off because it became to the point that that person has to get therapy so he can.
Well, that's another kind of toxicity that did not happen with us.
But I'm just comparing
her own shit affecting her, and then it rolled over onto me. It wasn't. I don't know how to put it. It wasn't like she was like, "Oh, you're like this person," or "You're doing this," or she didn't take anything out on me. There was never any like we didn't even yell at each other. When we got in an argument, it was like we were talking this loud. Like it's just it wasn't like that.
I was just piggybacking on what Ben said that they can bring that stuff into a friendship as well, and it can get hard for you just as a friend. So be careful. But I am, and that's why always need friends.
And you guys know I'm honest. I mean, that's why I came here and told you, because it's something that's going on in my life, and I want to share it with you guys. And because you're all my friends,
and we're gonna back you, and
I know you will, buddy.
Yeah,
that's why I love you guys, because we all do that for each other here. Yeah.
So my thoughts that I just wanted to add real quick was basically I agree with Ben on the therapy thing. I mean, healthcare workers have really been hit hard. Like you have your PTSD trauma. A lot of healthcare workers are developing PTSD from, the pandemic and just the way that they've just been overwhelmed and
overworked and short-staffed and underpaid still and everything.
And
yes.
I mean, some being harassed that they're lying, it's bad. And I want what's best for both of you. And if being each other's friends and being a support network for each other is what's best, great.
Yeah.
But hopefully everybody involved has therapy, because everybody could stand for therapy. Like therapy would never hurt.
I started going before her and I split up because I said, okay, that's it. I need to go back to therapy. And she was like, she said, yeah. And she said, and I do too. Like she admitted it. And Ben knows that because him and I talked about it back then.
Yeah, she just needs to do it. She just needs to buckle down and do it.
So that's part of why that's part of what I want to help her with. I want to help her get a good therapist. And I want her to get help because I mean, goddamn, how many amazing people do you meet in your life that you just click 100% with? Everything's perfect. Like that just doesn't fucking happen. The only reason our relationship went to hell was because the shit at work and the shit with her kid's dad and all these other fucking factors, these people dying and all this was going on at once. And she said, I just can't. I have too much. And that's why she backed away from me to begin with. And I can't be angry at her for that. At least she was, it did hurt me and I was angry at first, but I shouldn't be. She was being honest with me. That's what I've always wanted. And she gave me honesty and I got upset because my heart got broke, Although I did warn her not to break my heart because I told her I would fucking lose my shit and she didn't listen. So,
well,
it's
honestly,
I have an ex. We broke up in 2009 and by 2011 we were friends. We've been friends ever since. We have talked to each other. She's engaged to be married. They're talking about getting married here. I'm probably going to be in the wedding with her. Like, I don't have a problem. Any of the people that didn't like cheat on me, hit me, blah, blah, blah. I'm friends with those people still. I'm friends with like 4 of my exes, including Heather, because they're good people. We just didn't get along in a relationship. And we both know that, we're both adult enough to say, hey, we can be friends, And Jen and I, like I said, Jen and I have been friends since 2011, fucking 11 years now. And we're great friends and we don't talk sometimes for 5, 6, 7 months. And then we'll talk a lot because stuff's going on and we want to help each other and talk through it. And then we don't talk again for a while and it's fine. I just don't, I try to give everybody at least another chance. And if they don't fuck up the second chance and me being their friend, then if they fuck it up, then I just move on. Yeah. But if they don't fuck up the friendship thing, then I'm good.
I went as far in your life. I went as far to support my second ex-husband because he was going through a divorce and he was trying to get custody of his younger children. And I testified at his divorce hearing or trial because he was a good dad and she is not a good mother. And I testified how we co-parented and all that stuff.
Well, good for you.
He's good. He's just not he's not good for me. He wasn't a good husband to me. That doesn't mean he wasn't a good father,
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Not every guy's like my dad, bad at both. Horrible husband and a horrible father. Huh?
It took 2 years for my ex and I to be able to be friends. After we separated. And we're still we became friends and then we kind of like somebody said in the comments, it helped us move and now he's got his own family and I'm doing my own thing. We don't talk as much as we used to.
Yeah.
But we were able to get past the anger at each other to forgive each other and to move on.
Yeah.
And it's with my first ex-husband is a totally different story because I honest to God would not stop to piss on that man if he was on fire. I would not. I would let him burn. That's how much I can.
That's pretty much my son's dad.
Yeah. If you drank enough and you
know what I do? I would literally throw another match on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I would. He hurt my child for 14 years. I would pour gasoline on him. I would add air. I don't care. I'll fan that fucking bitch. I don't give a shit. That motherfucker can burn. And he hasn't just molested my child, but he's molested 2 or 3, maybe 5, 6 other children we don't even know about. So fuck him. He can burn. Hey, there's my buddy.
Oz.
Hi, Oz.
Do you want to come
you
in?
And Jenna
Oz?
have any breathing time tonight? You are welcome to come in. We're just doing civil discussions. Oh, I meant to talk to everybody about that.
I saw. First, Can you tell me again? Is it a versus? That I'm supposed to be putting suggestions, like just topics of conversation, or like you said, is it a versus, like chocolate covered cherries versus strawberries? I don't know.
Well, you don't have to write it down now. No. Just any. It can be anything.
My suggestion. My suggestion is nothing about the army. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we're gonna lay some ground rules. Are you ready? We're not gonna do anything about college. We're going to try to avoid anything that is toxic. I don't even want to talk about toxicity tonight. Jenny and Phoebe are over there doing conversion therapy discussion with Granny. We'll let them handle the ugly shit for the night. This is what I wanted to start doing. I'm going to start calling this civil discussion. So number one rule is everybody coming on all these shows and interrupting each other. This is what I'm going to do from now on. And I don't love any of you less, and I know you get excited, but this is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to give one warning, and then the second time, I'm just going to kick you in the basement for about 30 seconds to get your attention. And then nobody should do it after that. So that's my plan. I haven't gone any further than that. So what I want to start doing is I want people that are coming on the panel to bring a topic with them. So, and no, Ollie, it can't be weed or disc golf. Come up with something different, buddy. I love you, Ollie. Anyway, so that's what I want to start doing. I want people to start bringing in topics, and we'll talk about a topic, and then if we segue, that's fine, and we'll go on for so long on that topic, and then when I feel like we've either killed it or segued too much, we'll go on to a different topic. So
I'm going to make her regret not letting me talk about weed or disc golf with my topic.
Actually, there's
hold on. Go ahead, Ben.
There's one single army topic that I will bring up. I guess it's kind of combined because I have my army test tomorrow, so I do have to study army stuff tonight. But I just have to say, because Beck would think this is so funny, so you know how like orthopedic surgeons and like surgeons in general tend to be bros.
Mm-hmm.
I found the people who are bigger bros than surgeons.
Is it the dentist?
Medics.
I've been following I've been on Twitter.
Well, yeah, the medics, but not. I wasn't speaking about that. More on the officer side. Dentists. Army dentists are full hua.
Are you serious?
I pay attention to things sometimes.
So here's.
I had no idea. I've never seen an army.
I saw your Twitter post and I was trying to figure it out.
So I'm in like this whole program is for health professionals. Most of the people here are medical or dental, and a lot of them are already graduated, about to go to residency or their first duty station. But we're talking about the Army healthcare system, and so role 1 is like right by the combat, like right where it's happening, pretty much, and so you have these dentists that are, so the role 1 is usually it's like one doctor and one PA and then a bunch of medics. And then like you have these dentists, like we had one guy who kept asking over and over, so are there times when they'd put a dentist in a role 1? And they're like, no, we don't put dentists in role 1. They stay in role 2. And they're like, but what if it's a dental surgeon? And they're like, no, we don't put dentists in role 1. And these guys are just like, they're like the guys that are always like the loudest and trying to like do the hardest PT and like running everywhere and like wanting to be in combat. It's all the dentists. It's hilarious.
That's so weird. You'd think they'd be the mild-mannered one. I would think the orthopedic surgeon, because they're like over there like knocking shit with a fucking hammer and chisel.
Like we have
you think those bitches would be like, gah.
No, we have people here who are surgeons or going into surgical residency, and they're the chillest people. Like the surgeons are like most of the surgeons I know here
yet.
Well, no, most of them are female, and like they're good at being like leaders, but they're not overdoing it. They're just
you gotta protect your hands.
They're just being people.
I'm just really surprised that there aren't more medics, because medics tend to get what I like to call
we're not We're not with the medics. Medics are enlisted. Medics are enlisted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
I did not know
and
that.
Medics aren't.
Yeah.
The medics will go through the enlisted everything with the regular people. What were you saying now, Deb? Before that, what
I said? There's a thing that paramedics get. It's called paragoditis. At least that's what I've always called it because they.
Yeah, it's an infection, and it usually runs rampant in a small crowd.
It's awful.
Well, it's
so
funny
awful.
too because well, Army medics, very few of them are actually paramedics. Most of them are EMTBs.
Okay.
So only
really.
Yeah. They just have a really expanded scope of practice, right?
Yeah. The only ones that are like required to be paramedics are like evac, like flight evac.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Huh, like those have to
that.
be.
But... I should have became a fucking medic in the Army. I probably wouldn't have fucked that up.
Most of them are EMTs, which is kind of scary.
It is actually very scary because.
Well, it depends on who trained those EMTs. I had some amazing fucking medics that trained me, and I knew more shit than like 98% of the fucking basics I knew because I worked with some amazing. I got really lucky, and this one medic loved me, and he was a fucking 28-year medic when I started being a basic, and he's still going now. He works in an emergency room setting, and he's been doing it for 40 years now.
Now that's the caveat. A good medic teaching, but
and then I also worked with my ex.
Have to be a good one.
As nuts as she was after she couldn't be a medic anymore because she lost her self-identity and fucking lost her shit on me. But she was an amazing fucking medic. I mean, just like so you know how you get the medics that are kind of like slow and they think, and then you get the medics that are like too fast and they rush too much and they're panicking. Not these two. These two, cool as cucumbers as someone's dying on the cot. Like, it just amazed me. They never like flinched. They never paused. They knew exactly what they needed to do. They'd start a line, get them on, blah, 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 this medicine, that they knew. They knew there was no pause. There was no hesitation. There was no panic. There was no, like when that lady threw a PE, we just moved her onto the cot and they said she was acting weird. And that's why we came to get her because they said she had an altered mental status and she was in a rehabilitation center, some issues with her legs or something. So we went to get her to pull her over to the hospital and we moved her onto the cot. And then she just kind of like seized up a little bit. And then and Amy goes, could you get me a bag? She just threw a PE. Like, that's how she said it. And I was like, oh shit, you mean, okay, I got you. Cause she said it so calm. I didn't think it was an emergency for a second. So I look around the room. There's no bag. There's no bag in a fucking room in a rehab center. Oh God. No bag, nothing. There's nothing in there. There was like one empty fucking IV stand. Nothing else in the whole entire fucking room. So I go to the nurse. I run to the nurse's office and I said, I need a bag now. And the lady goes, I'm sorry. And I said, I need a bag. And she's like, a bag. And I said, she just threw a PE. And they both go, oh, and they jump up and their chairs go flying out of the nurse's station. And everybody's going, I can't find one. I can't. I'm like, how do you?
That's basic.
It comes with time.
So then finally, I go back in the room and I'm like, I'm trying to find a bag. And I run back out again. And as I'm running out, this guy comes to the door and he's standing there with it. And I'm all the way on the other side of the fucking room. And I'm like, coming at him and he's just looking at me. I'm like, throw it, you dumbass. I'm trying to save somebody's life. Would you mind giving me the goddamn one thing I could save it with right now?
Oh, I had a weird moment.
But that's the point, was they were all just cool all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Kitty.
really, they were
Let Kitty go next.
No, I just was waiting to say something on the whole dentist thing. It kind of makes sense because dentists are kind of sadists. I mean, if you think about it, they strike fear and terror into most people, and like they fucking hurt, and like needles in your mouth, fucking drilling in your teeth. It makes absolute sense that the dentist would be the fucking hardcore one.
Yeah, they're like, watch this motherfucker. I'm gonna knock you out with some gas and pull that tooth that you don't need pulled. You know, fuck with me.
No, it's funny too because they actually said that that dentists are usually the ones doing triage because and the reason is because the dentists are less emotionally invested than physicians.
They just don't care.
Sociopathic sadists. You're not disproving my point, honey.
Aren't dentists still like the highest of the doctors that commit suicide as well?
Yeah, it's I just did some research on it. Dentists.
More dentists commit suicide than any other type of doctor or medical person.
You said dentists,
which is interesting because they have the best.
Two?
They have the best work-life balance out of all of them, except for psychiatrists, dentists.
Really?
They have like some of the best work-life balance.
What, are they just needy and they kill themselves? Why? Why they have such a good...
There's this random study out there, and I wish I could remember what it was, but they were talking about the hatred that they get from their patients. Nobody wants to see them. And after you do that for so long, I guess it just starts leaking over into your personal life. But like the second group is EMS and cops. Those are the people that commit suicide the second most because of the
intensity. Well, yeah, because you see all the horror and death and trauma in the world that no one else gets to see. Yeah. You see it first.
Yeah.
And in living color. Hi, Mikey.
Hi, Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Michael.
Howdy, partners. No Michaels.
What's going on?
No Michael.
Why are you calling him? Don't call him. His name is Mikey.
That's the name he chose. I don't like Michael.
Oliver.
That's okay. I didn't know that.
It's okay.
See, I don't mind Oliver. I prefer Ollie.
Damn. But the point is the name you prefer, right?
Prince Ollie.
What have you been up to, Mikey?
Doing dinner. Just got done with Speaking from the Center, a bin media product. So
where is that streamed to, sir? I knew nothing of that.
It was on Twitch. We just finished up.
Oh, shit, I missed the whole thing. Well, I've been busy for the last hour.
I have to share
7 a.m. this morning when I drove away from the other hotel.
I mean, I rated you, but you didn't even notice.
That's fine. Oh, you rated? Oh, Mikey, I'm sorry. We were having a serious conversation. I missed it. I'm not looking at Twitch.
But I do want to share something that happened today, which I told Beck already, but this is kind of funny. So in my platoon, so we were doing PT at like 4 this morning, and I was just standing around like shooting the breeze with this other guy who's going to be an emergency physician. But we're just talking, and he's like, wait, I just want to ask, are you student Dr. Ben? And I was like, and he's like,
he knew who the fuck he was, man.
Yeah, he's
from Twitter. Oh, our little guy is famous. Shut the fuck up, Angel.
My second son is famous.
Well, he was like, yeah, I saw you did a show with
no, I'm using that.
And you've been on like some ACA shows. I was like, yeah, that's me. Like, that's weird. that somebody from my own platoon too.
You're like famous. You're like YouTube famous.
Yeah, it's weird. I was like not expecting.
It's only gonna get worse.
I was gonna say. I was just about to say that after better. You're gonna go to better.
I was not expecting the army to be a place where this happened.
To be fair, you're in the army and an atheist, so there.
And
proof of concept.
And you do medical stuff that other people watch who are in school with you.
That's true. That's true.
It's like, I can't believe people are watching what I'm doing. You mean the exact same people you hang out with and do the exact same stuff?
That's true. That's true. But it was just funny. It was just funny.
Basketball players really like sneakers. It's weird.
Oh, real quick, Kitty Farron wants to know what you're working on.
Oh, it is a lunchbox, a lunch bag for my sister. She started her new job, and she's working in a medical office, so she'll be able to like bring her lunch. So
cool.
It matches a tote bag and a purse, and a water bottle holder that I made her.
Nice.
Aw, you're so good to people. Oh, very nice.
I try.
What's the worst pattern that you think you could make a lunchbox out of? I would imagine like intestine pattern.
Like, ooh, no, that's like perfect for a medical worker. Are you kidding? They'd be like, yes.
I've got insulated material in this, so like, I mean, if you were to like, and it's sturdy, so it
testicle
could theoretically, with the waterproof canvas inside, put some ice in it. You could theoretically transport an organ. It wouldn't be the most like sanitary.
I remember.
I don't know.
No, I mean like the pattern, like the color pattern on the outside. Like, what would be the worst looking lunchbox possible?
Probably something with like teeth on it.
There you go.
Ribbon I designed.
Ooh,
Oh,
that looks like ground beef.
That's not gross.
That's great.
It looks like ground beef, though.
It's brains.
Yeah,
I know, but it still looks like ground beef.
They're both similar.
Still one.
What about like if you made it look like a picture of like slimy defrosting chicken breast?
Oh, Oz wants a link. I can send a link, Oz.
It's okay. I'll just put one in here for him.
I saw a lunchbox that said human
there
organ.
You go, buddy. I'm sorry.
Transport or something.
That's funny.
I could theoretically do that with this. Like, well, not this one. I would have to have one without such a busy pattern on it. But yeah, I could use vinyl or embroidery to basically put that on there.
You know what's the hardest part about designing brain ribbon is you have to repeat the pattern continuously. That was the hardest.
Ox, you cannot relate that to Kitty because Stool comes in every time Ben's here. If Ben's not here, Stool never comes out and hangs out with me anymore. But if Ben shows up, that motherfucker sniffs it out somehow. He's like,
"Hey, Stool, my stalker." That's hilarious.
How are you just realizing this, Ben?
Let me tell you something, Beck. Stool, he's a bit shallow. He's a bit
I got
shallow.
one more hole. I'm gonna hold it for Oz. So if anybody else shows up, wait.
We're holding on the panel so we can go out.
Got one hole left. I'm holding it for Oz. That's right.
We're holding some holes tonight.
I only have 10 holes.
Stool on a panel, and we all get to ask him a question.
I only have 9 available because
do not feed the stool. What is wrong with you people? Don't do it.
I was
especially
about
after midnight.
Talk about how many holes I have, considering all of my piercings. But
yeah, I feel you, Kitty.
Save that
was
for
not
another
okay,
day.
Amanda.
He's like the guy on Spirited Away where you feed him gold.
No face.
Yes.
Jenna's probably working still, Ox. She works later than you think. Half the time when Oz is on an earlier stream, that's not at 11 or 12
Sexual
1 a.m.
rarity.
Most of the time, if it's before that, Jenna's on her phone from work, like supporting him. So she works. She doesn't do like an 8 to 4.
No, we call him sexual rarity here.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
if you haven't noticed, my kid has been doing everything he can to make me laugh in the background, making stupid noises and shit. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, I didn't even notice. But I have bad hearing. What's up, Oz? Oz.
This is great.
Oz is muted.
What's up, Oz?
What up?
Yeah, here's
you got me right in the background, buddy.
What's
up, Oz?
What up?
Yeah, here's we see that.
Oh, we got an echo.
Who's that?
I think it's Oz.
What is that, Sadie?
It's probably.
We're in Oz. Wizard of Oz.
I am Oz.
Okay.
That picture where I got this at the
Hold on.
Field Museum in Washington D.C. It's like a picture of.
No. Why do people put it down when I put you up? What is that?
It's childbirth before and after Eve ate the fruit.
Oh.
Back it up just a hair. Oh. Never mind. Never mind.
It's like too bright.
It's just a little fuzzy. It's hard to read.
It's too bright.
It's too bright. There we go.
Gurr said, "Damn it, Oz, get yo shit fixed."
Huh?
That's what Gurr said, man. I don't know.
That is what Gurr
said,
bro.
Gurr don't know shit. Gurr don't know shit. Don't know nothing about nothing.
He don't know nothing. Sorry, guys. I didn't pay for the professional plan that I didn't know existed until 2 minutes ago. So I can only have 10 people. So,
how many can you have with a professional plan?
Apparently, you can have 12 if you pay a little bit more. The $25 I pay a month to StreamYard to have 10 people isn't enough. Well, and lots of videos and pictures and
12 people.
So somebody
chaotic,
said Gurr. Has anybody else read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
Nope.
Nope. Don't include
Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. Hey,
that hurts my soul.
Beck, Jenna will be joining us here in a minute.
Okay, I'll have to kick somebody. Who wants to go? No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna go.
Who's joining?
No, somebody will leave. Somebody will leave before then, anyways. When's she coming in, Oz? How much time we got?
You probably got a couple minutes.
Okay. What up, Oz? I gotta run though.
What up, though?
I gotta run.
Mikey, you ain't gonna leave for Jenna, man.
No. I gotta go.
I was just gonna flip a lot of coins.
I got a little time before my next show, so I gotta go.
Okay, buddy.
I see y'all later.
Hey, thanks for coming by. Love you.
Later, Mikey.
Hi, Mikey.
Mikey.
So to reiterate,
Fuck you,
Beck from earlier.
Everybody
To reiterate, we are. If anyone has topics that you want to talk about,
I have one.
Go.
I'm sure you do.
Nobody else wants to. Nobody wants to share. Go ahead.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. Please finish.
Okay, am I the only one tonight who thinks that Kitty's actually half elf?
She does look elfish with her hair like that. You can see her ears, and it's not normal. She usually has her headphones on. That's why. She does. She looks like the She looks like the princess elf, the queen elf. No, you look like the one in power.
Yes, I'm queen of the like the fucking Sealy Court.
Nice.
Queen of the Down.
Oz. Dude, I ain't gonna kick off Oz to get Jenna on. I mean, that would be kind of a thought, but no, I wouldn't do that.
So guess how hot it's gonna be this weekend for me here.
Where are you, Ben?
How hot?
It's gonna be 108. Guess what we're doing in that?
PT.
Sweating.
That's range. That's range day.
Oh.
You're gonna sweat.
Wait a minute. It's gonna be doing.
We're gonna die. We're going.
Shooting
So
guns.
it's supposed to be 108 this weekend, like the whole weekend, and we're supposed to weapons qualify this weekend.
Oh, dude.
That's gonna be hard to do, dude.
Look, here's my advice.
It's not.
If they
No,
let you-
we have to do it. We're gonna be on
No.
heat cap
I'm just
5,
saying,
like, all week.
any moment you have to stand in the shade, do it.
Hydrate.
Water. He knows. He's a fucking doctor, but that's not the
I know
point.
we have
I love
to
you, and I'm
have
worried about
canteens
you.
on us.
Hydrate.
It's uniform. You have to have
Yeah.
canteens on you at all times.
Yeah. And they will actually, when it gets too hot out, the Army will they will literally make you stop, go in the shade and drink water. They did it to us during weapons training, and I think it was only like 98 to 100 out.
Yeah, we've got
South
these.
Carolina.
We're gonna have these water buckets that essentially you get soaked up to your armpits and hold your arms up, so you cool your core down. Like they're gonna
Nice.
have those all throughout because we're gonna be outside for a whole week in this.
Fucking
nonsense.
Army's like leveled up
So-
since I was in, man. We didn't have anything cool like that.
Been the best idea in that situation is you take the canteen and the buckets and you fill it as much as you can until it starts to pour over with whiskey. And then you just forget everything.
Yeah, we're not allowed to do that during
shit.
training.
Oh, hold on, everybody. 1 second. Seriously, 1 second. Jenna, how are you?
You gonna flirt with Jenna while Oz is in the room?
I'm not flirting with her. She's my niece. I'm checking on her.
Hi.
I mean, yeah, sometimes I flirt with her, but
Wink,
she's
wink,
used to
nudge,
that, and
nudge.
so is Oz. How are you, Jenna?
I'm doing all right. How are you all?
I'm
Good.
This is somebody take a fucking picture and write down this time and date. I have Oz and Jenna on a stream together on my channel. That's like a fucking Christmas
Yes,
miracle.
I often hate that I can never jump in on the times that you stream because West Coast time just sucks ass.
Well, because you're still working, I know. It overlaps everybody's work schedule in the Pacific time zone.
Yeah.
I rarely do this, but I am going to steal all the credit for this one because
Okay.
I called
Do
Jenna
it.
and I said, Uncle Beck is live. I was just on there. I said, I would love to have us on there. So I think we should go hang out. And she was like, yes, we should do that. So I'm taking all the credit.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm going
is
to split
absolutely
it
right on that.
60-40. Because you got to give the woman
Favor
more
of
than
Jenna.
30, man. You'll be in trouble. So Oz gets 60, Jenna gets 40.
I think that's fair. That is fair.
So I think Oz had said he has a topic for us.
Oh, yeah. Oz, what were you talking about?
Well, the first thing, so I do have a topic. The first thing, so the image I have as my avatar, if that's what you want to call it, this is one of my favorite humans I've ever met in my fucking life. When Pasta Mike and Nate and I went to downtown Columbus and did our like street, like Jay Leno type interviews, right? Mike had the camera and we were walking around. We would just walk up to random people and say, I can't remember how we asked. It was like, do you want to talk to us about Jesus? Like all energetic.
Would you like to talk about Jesus?
and this guy, like, as soon as we asked, he was like, hell yeah, I want to talk about Jesus. Like, he got like super pumped, right? And come to find out, he had like it was like a degree in theology and a degree something else biblical. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, you know, are you still a believer? You know, you still a minister, or whatever. And he was like, oh fuck, no, I'm not. You know, and I was like, oh man. I said, so what? You know, I'm a former believer myself. Why are you no longer a believer? Why are you no longer in the ministry?
Right.
And I quote, well, Oz, I couldn't keep the dicks out of my mouth.
You made Iron Man choke on his weed.
Too bad Ben's in the bathroom. He'd probably be like, same.
Oh, wow.
Yo, I wonder if that would work for climate change. Should I just like go out on the street and start
or whatever?
Yes.
Start like randomly asking people if they want to talk to me about climate change, and I can tell them how all fucked we are and nobody's listening. And do you think that would work? Do you think anybody would ever finally fucking listen?
Fuck yes.
I always say at least try it. Then you know if it works. You know you
like, hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a climate scientist. We're totally fucked. Want to talk about it? You think that would work?
I don't think I would. I would rewrite the pitch.
Yeah. You need a better hook.
I've gone full doomer on fucking climate change. Like, I have literally given up hope for our species. Like, I'm still gonna vote, you know, and try to do what I can, but I'm not hopeful.
What we have is 3 years left to drastically change what we're doing, or we will be looking at just ridiculous and unlivable changes by the year 2050. There will be obviously places on the planet that are more affected than others. Something I talked about with Ben was like a couple weeks ago when I did his stream. Yeah. But yeah, the people in the southern part of our hemisphere are more affected from climate change than the people in the northern part. Obviously, there's different areas on the planet there are already places that have surpassed the 1.5 degrees Celsius mark. That is basically the tipping point. But that as a global temperature change, and we are a little over 1.1 right now, so it's pretty goddamn rapid. Yeah, we at about 5 years ago we were raising our global temperature a tenth of a degree every decade, and we were at 0.8 then, and we've already made it to 1.1 in that time. So it's much less.
It's rapidly.
I'm almost wondering if it would work if you like appealed to the xenophobic, bigoted racists by saying, hey, you know, if the temperature keeps going, the entire Middle East will be completely unlivable and it will cause a refugee crisis the likes of which the world has never seen. And maybe that might light a fire under their asses.
That's part of the reason that we're seeing so many people coming up from South America as well. We're already seeing climate refugees because of what we do. I mean, we have 4% of the world's population, and we output 15% of our CO2. And in the past year, we have hit the highest levels of methane in our atmosphere than we have in all of recorded history. And methane is 25 times more potent than CO2. So when I say we're in trouble, we're in fucking trouble. And I'm sorry, Beck, I can't help this climate shit.
Go ahead, honey.
I've heard
people need to talk about it. I love that you talk about it. Go for it.
I've heard that all forms of meth are bad.
Oh, wait a minute.
What, Ollie? Go ahead.
I said.
That was Oz. Sorry.
I've heard that all forms of meth are bad.
If it has meth in it anywhere, it's bad.
It's fucked.
Right.
Yeah, no, but it's just, it gets a little, I get that there's a lot of shit happening right now, especially with, we had COVID for so long, and now with fucking just everything falling apart in America. But unfortunately, there really isn't much more important things than the fact that, you know, what we're doing to every species on this planet, including ourselves. We are, you know, we have the ability. Yeah, we do. But we also, as humans, have the ability to adapt better because we have buildings and shit, and we can move. It's not like other species who have to stay in their own ecosystems in order to survive. So we continue to destroy the planet while we're the least affected by it, but that doesn't mean we're not affected by it at all, or especially people in third world countries. And people in urban areas, even in America, are affected much worse. It's such a fucking mess. Nobody cares or listens. And so it just feels like screaming into the wind sometimes, so it gets frustrating. So I said maybe I should just go out on the street and fucking ask.
Right.
Okay.
Jur said, hold on, I got a couple questions here. So let me get back in here in the chat. HR Johnson said, I'm losing hope that people will listen in time. I'm pretty full of doom there too. And Onjur said, will our planet die slowly or will it be at a huge explosion?
Oh, slowly. We're already there. We're already like the idea that people say, "Oh, can we stop climate change?" The climate has already changed enough that
it's too late. We should have started that 100 years ago.
This is about
like, literally
prolonging what time we have and the species we have. What I specifically work with in climate is protected and endangered species and how they're affected by the changing climate and changing ecosystems, and it's fucking heartbreaking. We lose on paper about 30,000 species a year. It's probably closer to 50,000. I mean, there are species that we don't know. And also it takes fucking years to like declare a species extinct or whatever. It's
of course.
Yeah.
But like it's still, I have to witness firsthand what we're doing to all these species on the planet, and is just I don't love humanity sometimes.
Well, the problem is you've got too many people who really don't care, because you've got some people who figure that, you know, we're going to go and colonize another planet, so it doesn't matter if we screw this one up. And then you've got the religious fanatics who think that the rapture is going to be any day now, so it doesn't matter.
Hey, Perps, you know what I'm going to say to the whole colonize another planet thing? What am I going to say? There is no fucking planet B. This whole like, oh, we'll just pick up and go to Mars is stupid. I would like to, you know, remind everybody that I have a degree in astrophysics as well as climate science. So you don't you don't just fucking go to Mars. Okay, you're talking about radiation, you're talking about the atmosphere. We would have to be completely fucking protected all of the time. It is not a livable thing. It's not a doable thing.
And we don't have enough time to get it all set up with living domes for everybody to have oxygen and pump oxygen into. We're not ready. We wouldn't be ready to do that for like another probably 30 some odd years, 20, 30 years.
It's not sustainable because we couldn't produce the oxygen.
And it's a fucking scam. It's you know, and everybody knows how I feel about Musk. I fucking hate that motherfucker. But this is what it is. He's selling a scam because he knows that the richest people in the world are going to go, hey, let's do that and put money into it. Hold on, what did Jenny say? Not only on top of what Jenny is saying, if we stopped pumping the CO2 into the atmosphere tomorrow, we would still have our oceans would continue to heat for 80 years because of the amount of heat that we have already pumped into the atmosphere, and water absorbs heat, and it's just going to continue to do so for about 80 years, which is going to acidify the oceans, which fucks with the currents, which completely screws the weather patterns of the entire planet. Everything is connected. We are one big ecosystem.
Not to mention the fact,
understand it.
Like the phytoplankton and stuff in the oceans that actually produce most of the oxygen. Trees produce a lot of oxygen, but it's actually microorganisms in the ocean that produce the most oxygen for the planet. So if that all dies, we're fucked.
Yeah, thank you, Kitty. Our oceans produce over 50% of our oxygen. It's not the trees. The oceans are our planet's lungs, and we don't do. We're just dumping tons of shit into it and pumping oil out of it and destroying so much of it. So
the oceans also lock down CO2 better than forest.
Yeah, I have had this like idea on the tip of my tongue for the longest time. If there was a way that we could do carbon capture within the oceans that would not do any heating. I don't know. I have no idea to do it. I don't have the PhD to even be able to research it.
What do you mean carbon capture?
Carbon capture as in take the the CO2 out of the atmosphere that we're pumping in. We have that. In fact, it's not the end all be all that people want it to be. It's at the moment very limited. One of my favorites is they have a organic one that is mixed with metal, and it seems to be able to be working the best. But it can only capture like from what's coming out of like basically one power plant or whatever. It's not something that's we can't like blanket it over an entire city and capture it that way. But if there was a way that we could capture the carbon within the oceans and at the same time not warm the ocean, it would be better than the atmosphere, and it would be slower. It would slow down the process of the heating of the planet. So
okay.
It's like HEPA
SR said, I
filtration,
think,
but for CO2.
Yeah.
SR said, I think Nick had a guest working on carbon capture biofuel like literally 2 weeks ago on In Time. So if you want to check that out, Amanda, that would probably be something right up your alley.
On the subject of carbon capture, one of the things that's really pissing me off is all of these charities who say that for every donation they'll plant a tree. And what bullshit that is. Not only because, if you're planting these little seedlings, if they do anything, it's going to take decades, which we don't have. But also, the trees that they're talking about planting generally are tree farms that as soon as they're mature, they're going to cut them all down.
Turn them into paper or something else.
Yeah, paper or lumber products.
That's what Metal Organics Frameworks Carbon Capture. That's what I was talking about. Sorry, couldn't remember the name. But yeah, no, it's a pointless gesture. I mean, not completely pointless. Trees are important to an extent, but it's the same thing as EVs. EVs are not the fucking answer to anything, and our government pushing it like it is. When you plug your electric vehicle in, where do you think that fucking electricity is coming from? Is it coming from clean energy? Most of the time, 80% of that is coming from a coal-fired plant. And yes, it's taking less. It still ends up being less emissions than it would be. But what we need is to get rid of cars altogether. We need to have public transport. But unfortunately, like in the United States, the auto industry did a lot of lobbying to keep that basically impossible.
Yes.
So
that's why very few large cities have that transport, correct? Yes.
Yeah, so we would need to do massive infrastructure change. And also the Biden administration is upticking its amount of petroleum development. So while they're waving their hand over here saying, yes, we care about the environment, they're pulling more oil out of the earth. So
yeah. SR said, yes, Pale Blue Mama, and the metals to make those batteries is hell in terms of mining.
Yeah.
And that is correct.
Making the EVs are not great for the environment anyway.
So. And what do we do afterwards with those big batteries?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Bad things.
Bad things. That's the problem.
Sorry, I haven't been on a lot of shows lately because of the fucking fucked up shit messed up my life. So I guess I just gotta get this shit.
That's been pretty much for a year now. I know, honey. I know.
7 months we've been doing this. And then before that.
Well, I'm saying it started before you left that house. Yeah, so I'm just saying it's been over a year now. You've been putting up. Actually, it's been about 3 years now. You've been putting up with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have possible hope tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but we haven't had hope like this in the 7 months that we've been basically bouncing around like this. So we will see. Hi, HR Johnson. I'm Amanda. Nice to meet you.
Yep,
I'm
that's
a mouthy
Amanda.
bitch with a science background.
Also, Pale Blue Mama. Also, climate science. Also worked for NASA. Also knows what the fuck she's talking about with that stuff. So, that's why we're all shutting up and letting her go.
It's very educating because it's very nice to see somebody coming from a point where she's sharing the truth and not spreading just a bunch of bullshit to get her agenda across. And that's what I'm appreciating greatly about it.
Right?
Thank you, Deborah. I don't think actually Deborah and Oz. I don't think I've met yet. So
no, I
both
haven't
of you.
met you yet.
Oh,
nice to meet you.
Well, Amanda, Deborah has a channel she streams on, and it's called Let's Get Real About Mental Health. So she's kind of trying to help people go over stuff, guide people in the right direction kind of thing. And by the way, she is wanting to start doing guests here soon. So if anybody's up to go on and talk with her, let me know and I will connect you on Facebook or email or something to her. So that's Deborah. And then Oz, you know Oz, don't you, Amanda? Or you just have
I know of Oz. I just don't think I've ever been on a
I was going to say, how could you not know Oz? That's like saying you don't know me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm not really prepared to that.
Can I share something really quick, Beck?
Go for it.
You guys, I'm super excited, and I think you guys had a lot to do with it, but Neil actually asked me if I'm available to come on his show in July, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, good.
The idea I kept getting into the after party and not been on the show yet, so he's like, you have to come in and tell us about you. So I'm really
because I brought you in, and I said, Mikey, can I bring in Deb? And he was like, sure, and he gave me a link, and then you came in, and Neil was like, huh? Because
I know
anything to Neil,
I'm surprised.
and I didn't know, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
I brought her in with me. Is that okay?" And Neil's like, "Yeah, of course, Beck. I just didn't know who it was."
I'm surprised you haven't done that yet, Deborah. That's like the atheist rite of passage right there.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? Even I've been on there.
Community, right?
Well, and well, I'm really new to this community. I don't think I've even been coming around for 6 months yet. So I'm
girl, you're due. You're due, Deb. You do.
Oh, thank you.
I've only been around for a month.
Dave.
What?
Yeah, can I address that real quick?
Please do. Please do.
Not wrong. Especially what he said about China, the amount they had made so many promises, and when we pulled out of the Paris Climate Agreement, that put China on top as basically the country that was going to be the standard as to what we do in terms of holding to the Paris Climate Agreement. And as soon as Trump pulled us out, China went, fuck yeah, okay, we're in charge. We're going to build nearly 200 more coal-fired plants. And it kind of spread throughout the entire world, including us. So yeah, we are actually we are burning more coal now in the past 2 years than we have in the past 10 years. So the whole the Biden administration is pretended like they were going to get rid of coal and they were going to ramp down on the oil, and they lied. I don't hate the Biden administration. I'm grateful. It would be so much worse with Trump, especially with the fact that Trump overturned 99 environmental bills and laws that completely fucked us.
I love this comment. This is a great comment.
Did we lose you, Amanda? You kind of just stopped there.
Oh, we lost Beck, I think.
Oh. Yeah, because he said
he's on a hotspot on his computer.
Yeah.
I know, because I'm in a hotel too, and the fucking Wi-Fi is god awful.
It's okay because I have admin privileges on this channel, so I can run everything. But I'm also at a hotel, so this is fun.
Well, one of the cool things about StreamYards is that even if the host gets knocked off, the stream keeps going.
Yeah. But hopefully he'll be back.
Yeah,
which can actually be really dangerous if you're not careful about who you let into your streams.
Mm-hmm. So, Amanda, which area did you work for NASA with? Was it in Florida or?
No,
somewhere else?
I worked in the education program. I worked for a thing called the Challenger Education Program, where I taught basically 5th and 6th graders about space exploration, and we had a console that's mission control, and then half of it is an actual shuttle on the inside, and they go in and they pretend to go to the moon and stuff. I didn't work for the actual shuttle program. This was right after I got my astrophysics degree. And I ran it up in Iowa, actually. The center I ran was in Iowa. So
That's cool. I was just wondering because my partner used to work for the state EPA, and he actually had a lot of interactions. Like NASA was in his area that he had to monitor. So that's why I was asking.
That's very cool. And my son and I both wear shuttle necklaces. I've had mine since long before I even worked for them. I've had mine since I was 13. I didn't even realize. And then I had another one that I bought for Angel, and he has never taken it off. So, yep. But that was
adorable.
A lifetime ago. Thanks, Kitty. I moved on to climate because I had Angel, and I was raising them by myself, and I couldn't go pursue my postdoc in astrophysics. So it was just easier to get my master's in climate and work that way.
Hey, you do what you got to do, and we all want to do whatever we can to make the world a little better for our kids. It's one of those things, like the main philosophy I live by, aside from, don't be a dick, because I try not to be. Like, I mean, if you cross me, like I can give as good as I get, but for the most part, someone can like trash talk me and I don't care, but if you start fucking with like my kid, it's a whole other story, know?
Yeah.
Like that's a whole other line. That's my red line in the sand, is don't talk shit about my family. But no, it's like my main philosophy is I want to leave the world just a little bit better than it was when I entered it. And so like during the pandemic, I sewed hundreds of masks and gave them away. And I love sewing, and I still do it. And, I have a hard time. Like, I want to open an Etsy shop, and I'm practicing, getting good at the different things that I plan on selling. But it's really hard for me trying to set pricing. And it's like, how do I value my time? Because I enjoy doing this. It's fun, but I've got to factor in material costs, and I end up giving a lot of things to friends and family for free, and I don't charge them because, normally it's like I surprise them with things. But, also if they ask me for something, I usually just do it at cost. I don't put a value to my labor when it's for people close to me. Even the masks that I made, like I shipped them all over the world to people, and I paid for the materials. All I asked was that the person pay the shipping costs, because I just didn't have the money to be able to do that for everybody. So it didn't matter if you needed 2 masks or 20, whatever that flat rate envelope was, that's all I charged. And it was only because like I didn't have enough money to buy the materials and pay for shipping. But there were a few people that reached out to me that they were in like a tight situation, and I just paid out of pocket to help them out, because I was trying to do what little my crippled ass could during a pandemic to try to help, the world be a little less shitty.
Honestly, Kitty, I don't know how you do it, because like I haven't been able to get out of bed. Fucking, I mean, honestly, you know how the stress affects. Because for those who don't know, Kitty and I have the same physical disability, and it is literally called the suicide disease because it's the worst. The worst pain, the worst affliction that a human can have, I guess. Apparently, I didn't know that.
I think the only thing that comes close is cluster headaches. Like that one's pretty close.
Is that the trigeminal nerve pain?
We have
cluster headaches aren't trigeminal neuralgia is a different thing.
Isn't that considered the suicide one, or the trigeminal nerve pain?
That's trigeminal.
No, we have.
Neuralgia.
It's called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, also known as
complex regional pain syndrome or causalgia.
Yeah. And it is basically hell. Angel, for fuck's sake! Sorry.
Basically, for me, in the affected area, fill my veins and muscle tissues with napalm, set it on fire, and just leave it burning. 24/7, 365. There's no, even the medications don't take away the pain. It just allows me to function somewhat. And this is gabapentin, and they're 800 milligrams. I have to take them 4 times a day. And like, even that, only does so much.
Yeah. So but with like all the stress I've been under, everything that's happened to me, Angel.
Oh yeah, your mood absolutely affects your fucking pain with RSD or CRPS. Like, and you could be having a good day, and then something upsets you, and then what was a good pain day just goes straight to shit.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection there, and it's just it sucks. And I don't know how you can sit there and get all this work done. I mean, I'm sure it's like probably like me in video games with Angel. It's something that occupies your mind and takes your mind off the pain. But I couldn't at this point. The pain has gotten so bad I couldn't sit up and at a desk like that and do what you do. So I'm just impressed.
Well, I have a little thing, like a fucking, it's basically a plastic storage bin with some fabric in it, but it's got a bunch of pillows on top. So I keep my leg elevated because fortunately for me, my affected area is just my left leg. I mean, it goes up into like around my uterus and my lower back as well. But I basically have pillows that prop me up, and I have to constantly shift positions, and then I'll work for a bit, and then I'll have to like lean back and like just put my feet up and just relax because, you know, just hurts. But
pillows are a necessity. I am always surrounded by pillows.
I have a fuck ton of pillows. Like I have pillows in bed. I have my computer chair when I'm sitting and playing video games. There's literally an ottoman with pillows that have been wrapped with fucking paracord just to keep it the right elevation. And then there's a couple pillows on top that I can shift and adjust as I need to. And they're like the marshmallowy fluffy kind. So like they don't put as much pressure on my leg. It's nice. A chore for me to get situated in an area if I'm going to be there for a while. And
yeah, you're comfortable. Yeah, I get it.
I love that though, that you're just like me with the pillows. Like I have to have a ton of pillows, and I have to be propped up a certain way, or else it's just awful. But
the only way I can relate to you two wonderful ladies is when I had my kidney removed, and they cut me in half.
Oh yeah.
And I had 36, 34, something like that, staples around my half of my body holding me together. And it was really, really hard to get comfortable. Like every position, it hurt. I was in pain because they had to go inside and scrape the infection off the sacks of all my organs, off of like my intestines, stomach, liver, everywhere. It was just spread through my abdomen. And so they basically just kind of like took these metal spatula thingies and scraped my insides out, removed my kidney and my adrenal gland on that kidney, and sewed me back up and sent me home on a whole shit ton of antibiotics. So for about a month and a half, I had trouble sleeping. So I cannot imagine. Well, plus 3 months prior to that, I was in pain and just gradually got worse until I was ready to shoot myself. So for those total of 4.5 months, I get it, and how you guys deal with it every day. I would have lost my fucking mind or been on like meth or something by now. I don't know how you guys do it. I really don't.
I smoke a fuck ton of weed when I
medication and my son. Like hands down, if anything ever happened to my child, like my child is my one reason to continue existing. Like,
see, that's part of Amanda's deal, isn't it, Amanda?
Oh yeah, that is all my deal.
Fuck yeah, that is the deal, right?
If I can, real quick, because my ADHD brain, if I don't, real quick,
go,
because I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna forget. Deb, you had mentioned having guests with talking about mental health and all of that. I would love to talk with you, and not just about. Not just about me, but the one thing that I've been talking more about is so my mom passed this last July, is when you were on our channel. You know, I shared part of that, and it's this for whatever reason. I mean, I know what it is, but for whatever reason, that this my mom. Well, she was a music minister for almost my entire life, and there's this almost obsession from the Christians in our family where it's like, we can't say that she committed suicide, we can't say that she took her own life, because that looks bad on the faith, that looks bad on the family, that looks and I think that's something that that needs to be highlighted is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. There needs to be attention applied there, because it's if my mom were to let's say be able to speak, obviously that's not gonna, but let's say she were be able to speak now, she would want people to know the despair and the dark and the pain and all that, and not be this negative thing, but actually use it to empower other people and hopefully push others to pursue more healthy means, whether it's therapy or medication or whatever it is. So I'm saying all that that way. If you would like to talk about that, I would love to do that with you on your channel. And I don't know if you've used that kind of thing before, but I'm open for that if you want to go there.
Oh, I would love to do it. I have I've been going through my own grief for the last 4 or 5 years for a best friend, and I have a whole story to go back that we can go and discuss that'll come along with what happened with your mom. So yeah, let me get it figured out, and I would love to have you come on and talk about that, because I did a whole series on grief and how it affects you not only physically but emotionally. And I think that I don't even know what the right word I want to use right now is, but the pressure that religious people put on families to say, oh, we can't talk about it. They took their own life. They're not going to go to heaven now. They're going to hell. That kind of stuff is definitely something that needs to be talked about, because there's a reason that happened. And like you said, if the therapy was available or the support was available or, anything like that, that probably wouldn't have happened. If you could have gotten another way to, another way out of your pain or out of your darkness and stuff like that. So I would absolutely 100% love to do that for you, with you.
And yes, whenever you're ready for whatever, no pressure, no hurry, whatever, whenever you're ready, but a little bit of a cliffhanger to that is that's what you're, not all, but that's what your typical, let's say American theist or Christian says about that. Well, if they take their own life, they're now playing God. They hands of God. They're now taking their own life. They say that about everybody else, but it's very ironic.
Yep.
It's very ironic, and it's very interesting and intriguing that when it hits close to home and it's mom or dad or brother or sister, now all of a sudden there's grace.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing to me.
And I think the other thing that with the story that I would like to share in that discussion, it was of a 17-year-old boy who had a Catholic mom and a Muslim dad, and he was gay. So his only way out of that situation was to kill himself, because both parents were like, being gay is wrong, 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 wrong. And they had indoctrinated him so much in his life that he could see no light at the end of the tunnel. He could not see how life could go on past that. And it's amazing to me that a lot of the religious things that they're taught are some of the higher reasons that people who are having these difficulties kill themselves, because they see no way out, because that's what religion has told them.
See, these are some examples of the toxicity and the fucking indoctrination and crap that religion does and fucks people's lives up. Here we go.
But I do want to say something, though. Like, suicide, it's not a cowardly act. And honestly, a story from, my own history, like, it bothers me when people say, oh, they took the easy way out. It's not easy, and I mean, you don't know what kind of suffering they're going through. When I was 16 years old, my father, he's had 2 botched back surgeries, he was fucked up from his military service. Like, he's still fighting to get his disability from them, even though it's been decades. And it's a complicated situation, but he's been in a lot of pain, and he was like, I don't know how much longer I can deal with this. I need you to, basically man up and take care of your sisters and your mom. And I was like, okay, Dad. And I walked away thinking he was the most selfish prick ever. Fast forward a few years after after my diagnosis and dealing with it, I got it. Like, I understood where he was coming from. And I realized that I was the more selfish one for, I didn't want to mourn my dad, so I wanted him to continue suffering. Like, don't get me wrong, if there's help out there, it should always be like a last resort thing. But I do believe in a right to die. I believe that, there should be a little bit of gatekeeping there, in that you have to go through therapy and everything like that. It can't just be, oh, I lost my job, my girlfriend broke up with me, I mean, in the end, I'm very libertarian when it comes to your own body and your autonomy. So like, if you wanted to, fine. But I think institutionally, like, we should have some safeguards to try to, steer people away from doing it if possible. But if they, are of sound mind and they decide that they're ready to quit, then, more power to them. Allow it to be humane and, as quick and painless as possible, and let them go out on their own terms, whether or not they have a terminal illness.
And Kitty,
you boo.
How much I agree.
Yeah, and Kitty, to back up what you're saying, that and it is so my mom's passing was the first. So my grandpa passed right around 5 years ago, but that was during my deconversion process. So I don't like all of those connections didn't make sense yet. As far as, am I an atheist? Am I a theist? But like, I was still figuring that shit out. So that was confusing in and of itself. But my mom's was the first one where it was like, no, I don't believe this shit. I don't believe this shit. And what blew my mind through that to what Kitty was talking about is everyone saw or viewed that as, again, a weakness, or it would be a cowardly act, or it would be one of diminishing, selfish, or even diminishing one's reputation. Being, because my mom was always known, what they called her General Mills. She was always known as being this very strong woman, and militant, and and all this, and all of a sudden it might be, well, now all of a sudden that would make her cowardly, or what? But what the average person sitting in the waiting room, when she was on a ventilator and no brain activity, no anything because of the overdose, they failed to realize, because they didn't seek the knowledge, didn't have the knowledge, that this woman had been living in every single day pain and agony because of the physical diseases and the mental illnesses that she had. Every single day was dog shit. Every single day was pain. Every single day was ruthless for that woman. And I always said, even before that happened, I told her when she was still here, Mom, I admire your tenacity. I don't believe in your God. I don't believe, and you claim that it's through this faith that you cling to this, and that you can keep, her words, not mine, that you can keep, quote unquote, marching, was her thing. But I admire your tenacity and your ability to try to be tougher than the diseases, but she finally got to the point where she had 3 specialists in a row tell her she had Meniere's disease. Was one of the most fucked up diseases she had. If you're not familiar, you can go research. I won't spend a bunch of time talking about it. That's the one where she had 3 specialists in a row tell her, Sherry, unfortunately, there's nothing right now in 2021, 2022. There's nothing we can do for this disease. There's absolutely nothing we can do. And unfortunately, you have to live with this. And she got to the point that night where she said, no, fuck this. I'm done. I'm done. I can't keep doing this. And I don't, that's where I do agree with, I do agree with Kitty and even the other ones that said, yes to that. That is not a cowardly act. As much as people want to throw that label or that accusation against that, for those that have actually been, they're back against the wall or in the corner, and they feel like it is life or death, and it's either I keep doing this or I end this myself. I'm sorry. It takes a lot of gumption, a lot of intestinal fortitude, a lot of kahunas, whatever term you want to use. That is not easy. That is not a simple decision.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to cut in here because I have experience with that. After my mom passed away, I didn't want to drive. I didn't drive for like 1.5 years. And then my sister made me get a car, and of course I didn't want to drive again. And every time I passed a big tree, I'd go, I should just run into that. We'll be even. I cannot tell you how many times that thought went through my head. I can't tell you how many times I saw like a cliff and a tree with no fucking guardrail, and I'm like, oh, I could just do that, and then everything will be even. You know what? I never even attempted it. That's some scary fucking shit.
Yep.
It takes, and I agree with you, Oz. That's a big huevos.
Yeah, having intrusive thoughts is one thing, but actually acting on them, like, because especially if you're a person of faith, like that would give you even more fear potentially.
Exactly. And that's what I was trying to, and thank you, Beck, because you're exactly right. And then again, Kitty, that follow up on that, a person of faith, that's not even supposed to be a thing, right? Because they depend, you depend not on your own understanding, and your pains and the turmoils of this world. The victory is the Lord's. The victory is ours. The battle is the Lord's. They attribute all of those things to this God, a God, and even since, and I've talked about this on our channel. This is not me saying this is like a, look at me, or of course not a braggadocious thing, but it's how dark in those moments that you can get where you lose connectivity to real life. The irrational part of your brain disappears, it goes away. And since that, so the day she passed was July 31st of last year. So since it's not even been a full year yet, when I say attempted, like true attempts, I've had 3 suicide attempts where I've either been in the hospital or I've been laying on a bed, and luckily somebody found me, and that was not something I did just on a whim. This fucking sounds fun. It was
no, people that attempt suicide usually have it planned.
Can I address Maya really quick? Maya, I love you. You know that. But and I don't know if you missed Kitty talking earlier, or
let me put the other part up too, though. I don't know if you see the rest of what she was saying.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with my RC when I was 21. I was told at 21 years old, for the rest of your life, you will feel the horrible fucking pain every single day. That's been 20 years. It is like there is nothing more soul crushing than fucking constantly being in pain. No, I'm not dying, but I understand that, because honestly, no, it's not always mental illness. Sometimes you've just had enough.
You're tired.
Yeah.
Oh no, exactly.
No, because chronic pain is exhausting. Like every single day you have to get up and you have to go to war. And there's no respite from it. Chronic illness, same thing,
It literally starts as soon as you wake up in the morning, right, Kitty? Like, just
sometimes I'll have a good day and I can get out of bed. A lot of times I have to lay in bed for a good 45 minutes or so and shift positions to try to ease up the spasms before I can get out of bed in the morning. Yeah. And usually it requires my opiate medication to help me be able to get out of bed. And it's one of those things, I know what it's like to be in true pain, and the chronic fatigue, the exhaustion that comes with that, the fact that this condition affects the limbic system, so mood, memory, sleep patterns, all of that gets messed up on top of the pain. So I get it. You don't have to necessarily be dying to just be done, but if you're not terminally ill, I do think that there should be a safeguard there. Well, not so much a safeguard, but essentially, as long as you are of sound mind, where if
go
you
through
could
therapy,
make a decision,
talk to us. Go through all the steps, right?
As long as you are of sound mind to legally make a decision, i.e., you're found, they make you go through a psych eval before you have a surgery, so as long as you have something like that, where it's yes, this person is of sound mind, and it puts a little bit of a waiting period there because you have to go seek the, the therapy. But on the other end, you have a painless death, a quiet death. on your terms, then, you know, that would encourage people to at least go through it. And if we can stop people and find a way to help them that, you know, allows them to continue going on, great. But if not, again, it is I feel about death the same way I feel about abortion. It's your body, your choice, you know?
Yeah.
And I agree.
And Maya just wanted to point out, she wasn't saying that it's always, she said it's usually mental illness. And she does deal with like nursing homes and stuff. So she probably knows a lot about that. I'm just saying.
This is something that I talked to Maya, and when I say it is a complete honor. Anytime I get to say this, it is humbling for me to be able to say it. But my very, very good friend Dave Warnock and I talk about this, and this is where when we're talking about I can never say that word right, autonomy, and being able to make those decisions for ourselves, we should be allowed that. Right, we should be allowed that, and I agree that whether it's an evaluation or whatever, those things for safety and you know, integrity purposes and accountability purposes, those things more likely than not should be in place. But to kind of bring it full circle, like all of these things are important to talk about. But for me, maybe this is anecdotal, and I if it sounds like I'm being selfish right now, just tell me to shut the fuck up, because
no, you're fine, buddy. Go ahead.
One thing I continue to think about is the very flawed approach in reasoning and dealing with this matter from the theist perspective. I'm not even worried about the skeptic or the humanist, because I believe most of us, for the most part, want to do the right thing for the individual. Where theism, especially Christianity, in the States, and you know, those close to the United States that have similar cultural impact, you know, from Christianity, it is this we believe by faith that no matter what, God's going to handle this, and God's going to treat this, and God's going to heal this. And there's this desire to have this true effect, or at least this placebo effect, right? That this God of this thing comes on the scene and shows up and shows out and does this miracle. Well, guess what? Over and over and over again, this God does not show up and does not show out. And then you know, us as the skeptics, as the ones that come from a secular or the medical or scientific side of it, we're left watching these friends or family literally melt.
Mm-hmm.
They begin to fall apart.
Yeah, they waste away.
It's like teaching kids about Santa, and then the kids that the parents that can't afford nice things are giving the kids socks from Santa, and then there's kids that are getting Xboxes from Santa, and these kids are like, why am I not good enough for an Xbox?
Yes, and Sadie, I agree. But then what makes it even more traumatic, and in my opinion, what makes it even more disgusting, as soon as they start to melt, and even maybe at the point they start doubting and asking questions and reflecting on the situation and what happened, then we have these religious leaders that step in. And then they interject their dogma. They interject their bullshit. And it's, well, ye of little faith. This is part of God's plan. This is God orchestrated this. And if you don't know this already, God's ways are higher than our ways. He works in mysterious ways. Then it's this complete brain fucking bullshit.
Can I chime in next?
Go.
This topic means a lot to me, especially like in the profession that I'm in. There's a lot of times, of course, like when we're weighing medical ethics, autonomy oftentimes trumps everything else. So it's like, it bugs me, number one, that people like to get involved who are not part of this decision-making process, which, like, at the end of the day, whose responsibility is it for this decision that's being made? It's mine.
Yeah.
No matter how it goes, whether it's good or not, it's my responsibility. And except when you're a theist, now, if it's good, it's God's responsibility. And if it's bad, it's my responsibility. So it's really fun being God's scapegoat, number one, and then also having these people that say, well, we think we should step in to your doctor-patient relationship and determine what you can and can't do with someone else's autonomy. Meanwhile, they're not taking any responsibility for these decisions. So I have to operate under their weird rules that they set for me, but I still take full responsibility for whatever decision is made. So it's a fun time. So maybe just like people need to stay out of it, like a little bit.
Ben, and that would be nice. That would be nice.
Ben, you'll appreciate this because I remember talking to Dr. Josh and Pasta Mike, well, and Aunt Kathy too, but mostly the late nights when I knew I didn't need to be alone and I needed to be talking to somebody. It was usually, Pasta Mike or Dr. Josh that I was talking to. And I would love to hear like real time, like if you were this doctor or this specialist, how you think that you may or may not have responded, or at least maybe what would have been going through your head when you heard this kind of shit. In a room, and I know you have to, bedside manners and all that. You have to respect all that. But when the specialist comes in, so my mom had taken enough narcotics and insulin where she just completely wiped out her brain activity. It was done, gone. It was what it was. And after they did the first round of scans, the doctors and the specialists all said that this, we really never see anybody ever recover from this. It is what it is. The damage is done. And of course them, being people of faith, well, we're gonna pray, we're gonna believe, and they have the praise music going in the room. They got oil in the room. They got, all this shit going on. And then they're like, in a few days, we'll give her a few days and we'll run these scans again and see if there is any change in brain activity or anything like that. Well, in those days, and Ben, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. She had involuntary, bodily movements, fingers moving, toes moving, arms moving. And any time one of those things happened, at least somebody in the family one of friends, it was, she's moving. God is moving. God.
That happens. That just happens.
Yeah. And that's what's like. No, guys, this is, and not to go too far down the rabbit hole. My dad's been in the mortuary business for over 40 years, and I know that just dead bodies fucking move, right? That's the part that shit happens. But what was sad is, Ben, what I brought up, reason I brought the doctor part of it up is, so they did the second round of the test, and they came back, and to say the least, that was a very somber, very like slap you in the face moment where it's like, okay, this is now reality, right? For those of us that want to face reality and we want to take the evidence for and the data for what it is. Well, when the specialist, the people that they've poured their life into this field, this career, that and taking care of people, when they left, the Christians in the room, some of the first things out of their mouth was, we believe these movements are of God. We're talking about her body. These are of God. Those doctors are pessimists. They're pessimists, and they don't want to have a reason to believe that there could be a miracle or there could be, A, B, or C. And I'm the two times I had to not only leave the room, I'd leave the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about right now? We just had the professionals. This is what the fuck they do, guys. This is what the fuck they do. That's like going to, on a much, much less significant comparison, that's like going to your whoever it is that you trust to work on your car, and they say, look, your car is shot. Your car is shot. You're going to have to buy a new car, right? And if they're a Christian, well, we believe that because when we turn the key, there's a click, that there's still life there.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's a.
Can I interject just real quick?
Yeah.
Oz, just a little tiny bit off topic, but you said your father worked in the mortuary business. One of my that when I did stuff on my channel, one of my favorite videos that I did was about dying sustainably. If you ever want to check that out, it's not that long. It's absolutely probably my favorite thing I've done on my channel. You might be interested in that. So.
Oh yeah.
I told my story yesterday, and one thing that I didn't mention is that when I was in the UPC at church when my dad died, and I had gone to church and I was upset about it, they basically told me they were sorry because he was a backslider. He didn't go to heaven.
They said what?
Wow.
They told me that my father
They did what?
Hold on,
that's
everybody
wrong.
stop talking. Everybody stop. Say it one more time, Sadie, please.
I said they basically told me because my dad had left the church that he did not go to heaven.
Oh dear.
And this was like a few days after my dad had passed. I was 23.
Nice.
That's
and it was so
Yeah, that's so Christian and not polite.
Yeah, yeah, it's just rude.
Can I respond to Oz's thing? So like the whole situation is really difficult, like to talk somebody through any of that, because like you really can't, like, of course, and I think this is fantastic that medical professionals cannot inject any of their own personal religious beliefs into that conversation with patients. I love that they're not supposed to do that. It is very difficult to like have those conversations with more religious families, because like you also can't prevent them from doing what they're gonna do. You kind of have to let them process the way that they want to, but at the same time trying to communicate with them that the options are limited and that there isn't an easy way to move forward without interfering with the way that they know how to process the situation is very difficult. And I think that's probably a case where, even though like I don't necessarily want to partake in a religious conversation, I probably would get the chaplain to help with that. Because while I can't be like, I can't be part of the religious conversation, but I also can't prevent them from doing it. So I would still need to get somebody else to help them with that.
Right. And yes, and I respect it. That is the most professional and respectful thing to do. So obviously this is something that you weren't there in that room, but let's say you were. You're one of those doctors. You're one of the, and not just the normal like emergency room doctor, but you're either one of the neurologists, or I can't remember the other ones that were in there, but you're one of the specialists.
Probably critical care.
Yeah, your focus is on what do we do? What do we do to help? And you hear this, and it's like, well, no, actually, instead of listening to the doctor, let's turn up the volume on Hillsongs, because that's going to be effective.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, and I think the best course of action would be to communicate with them in a way that they're going to be able to understand and that they're going to be able to process. So I do think that the chaplain would be the best way to, since if they've already demonstrated that they're not going to listen to a medical professional, maybe they'll listen to somebody from their own faith who can still communicate.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, but like, because like if they're just going to tune out what I'm going to say, if the chaplain says something similar, and that like trying to get them to understand that there are few options, if any, most likely no options, then like at least they're more likely to listen to somebody with a similar background to them, even though I don't agree with that perspective. Like what we want is the best thing for the patient, which in this case would be to let them go, even though the conversation might not be had in a way that I would like it to. I think it's still the best way to meet in the middle there.
No, I agree 100%, Ben.
Yeah, and I do. Again, for the record, I do agree that again, that is the most respectful especially the position of the from the professionals, the most professional, respectful position to take. So let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Let's Dr. Ben, I just muted everybody. I muted the world. It's only you and I. Please tell me. Please tell me that if you're in that room with my family, you're like, these people are batshit crazy.
I mean, probably, yeah.
You don't have to.
I couldn't professionally say that, but
but you could sure think it, Ben.
I could think it. I could not say it.
I didn't.
We all know they're talking about at the nurses' station.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of, like, honestly, I'm not a fan of people talking about patients or patients' families, like by the nurses' station or in the doctor's lounge or whatever, because it's just like very disrespectful and kind of violates the confidentiality in the relationship. Like no matter if I think it's like, and certain things though, certain actions like that are absolutely, like if a patient's family does something absolutely disrespectful that like they had full knowledge of what they were doing, like, okay, fine, like you can say something about it. But like if they don't know any better, or if they're going through grief or something that they don't really have the best control over, like how they process it, I'm not going to be making fun of them at the at the doctor's lounge.
And if I could just, sorry, and I know I've been dominating, so I'll bring, because I want to get Jenna involved in this, because something Ben said and brought up, and the only reason I would bring this up without even prompting Jenna, she shared it on Tang, but you talked about the and I agree with you that there should not be any interjection or injection of belief or lack of belief in that process, right? Whether it's during the medical treatment or even post, if the person does pass, through the arrangements of funeral services, things like all of that, all your personal opinions and all those things should be left the fuck out of that conversation. And Jenna shared an audio clip where the funeral director did this really, really, and I say cute very sarcastically, but this really cute tap around dance where it was, I'm not allowed to say a thing, but I'm going to say a thing, and interjected her faith and her belief in a God, in a kind of a very deceptive or manipulative, way to try to console the family. And I think when I listened to it as a former salesperson, sales director, it was salesmanship 101. That's what it sounded like to me.
That's gross. Like, we're supposed to be, like, all the professionals in whatever capacity they're working are supposed to be neutral parties.
See, that wasn't my experience when I went to the Mayo. Like, I went to the Mayo Clinic in condition, and because of my condition, and they literally, the doctor there was basically saying, well, you can't think the word pain, and you need to just pray, and that will help you. Pray and exercise instead of medication.
That's inappropriate. That's absolutely inappropriate conduct.
And that happened to me at the Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
It's not fun.
It's horrible.
I am surprised about that from the Mayo.
No, like I had that experience, and then and I lost a lot of respect for them, but I was like, oh, maybe it's just that one doctor. But then when I saw the Mayo's stance on Twitter, like, I used e-cigarettes to quit smoking, and someone had written in to like a Q&A to the Mayo on Twitter saying, I'm thinking about, trying to quit smoking using an e-cigarette, like, and I'm all about harm reduction. Do I think this is healthy? No, but is it less harmful than cigarettes? Yes. But they're like, no. You can't do that. You can't use an e-cigarette because it's got propylene glycol in it, which is an ingredient in antifreeze. Talk to your doctor about a prescription for the Nicotrol inhaler, which they have the information on.
It's an ingredient in everything.
And it is the first
ingredient in the COVID vaccine.
No, but the propylene
we
glycol
eat it
is
every
the first
day. It's in all of our food.
Right, but the propylene glycol is the first ingredient listed, meaning it is the majority of the ingredient in the Nicotrol inhaler prescription they were hawking. So they're demonizing the substance. They're demonizing this thing, saying, "Oh no, it's in antifreeze," but the exact same ingredient they're demonizing in e-cigarettes is the number one ingredient in the Nicotrol inhaler that they're hawking.
Wow. Yep. That's an all
like it's not even that PG is in everything like that it's in children's training toothpaste, but like inhaling it, like it is in the exact prescription that they were trying to tell you to talk to your doctor about while demonizing e-cigarettes for having that exact same thing. It wasn't the nicotine that they were saying. It wasn't any other additives. It was the propylene glycol specifically that they targeted.
But they made my kid drink a whole container of Miralax for a colonoscopy.
Fun fact, propylene glycol is also in breathing treatments to help people's lungs.
Yes, it's also in
It's
inhalers.
Everywhere. Yep.
It's everywhere.
It's yeah.
I have to jump in.
That's the first time Ben hasn't corrected me on something. I was totally right about propylene glycol. So write that down. It's recorded. Never mind. Carry on.
I said I was going to shut up, but right now I'm going to not shut up because I don't know if this has happened yet or not. But but Brian Stevens is here. I don't know if you know that, Uncle Beck. Have you got to talk?
Oh, Brian! Oh my God. Okay, everybody.
Brian.
Pause.
Hi, Brian.
I gotta say this shit, man. I have to. I'm gonna solo myself. Brian. Brian, are you there? Don't leave. This is really important, bro. So the other day, you were in Oz's chat, and Oz was talking about religion and stuff, and he was being honest and his own shit and what he's dealing with, and he got emotional and everything. It made me emotional. And then we were talking about guilt, and you put in the chat something to the effect of, if you didn't go into it to do something, or if you didn't go into it in trying to intentionally do something wrong, how could you feel guilt? Dude, 33 years I've been fighting with the guilt of my mother, and you helped me like cure 75% of it with a sentence. So I fucking love you. Please keep talking to people in chat. Please keep doing what you do every time. It was, dude, my brother's been trying to say that to me for years, and just something about the way you fucking typed it out, the timing of it. I know my internet's probably dying, but I'm gonna keep going, but everything was just fucking perfect. And my heart's pounding right now, dude. You made my skin crawl, and my heart started pounding, and I got a little dizzy, and my stomach flipped, and you just fucking changed my life, man. So I fucking love you, Brian Stevens. You are the shit. If you need fucking anything, you let me know. I'll give you money. I don't give a fuck. I'll help you. Anything you need, you fucking let me know. I got your back. Rest of your fucking life, I don't care. But I got it. It's yours. And I mean it. So I don't say anything like that lightly. Well, I don't know, man. My brother said, how the fuck did he say it? I want to know how he said it correctly, because it's the same thing I've been trying to tell you for 30 fucking years. And I was like, I know, man, but it's just the whole situation with it, what was going on with Oz on the stream and everybody in the chat, and everybody was being open and honest and forthright. And we were all talking about guilt and abuse and all this stuff. And everybody was just kind of like, the emotions were kind of raw that night. Would you say that's about right, Oz? Everything was kind of like we were all just opening up to each other. And so, anyways.
Yeah, it was one of the...
You guys changed my life. I just want to make sure Brian knew that. I love you, man.
It was probably one of the most, was one of the shorter ones. It was probably the most transparent, not the most, but one of the most transparent streams we've had. And Brian, I'll say that you got offered a residual income for your post. I didn't even get offered that, so congratulations.
I mean, I'm not going to pay him every month. I'm saying if he's in a tight spot, I'll fucking help him out.
I know, I'm fucking around.
Oh, fuck. You're funny. I didn't even get offered residual income. You fuck.
Bye, Ollie, man.
Have a good night, guys.
Ollie.
Midnight, so
I love you, buddy.
yeah, cheers.
Sleep well. See you soon.
Good night.
Guess what, you guys? I actually get to like sleep a little bit tonight. because I don't have to get up at 4.
So not a lot, just a little bit.
Yeah, my test is at 9:09. That does not. I've been like not sleeping for like a week now, and I'm dying.
Dude, that's like not okay, man.
That sounds like life.
It's not. Well, yeah, no, they crammed 7 weeks of this course into 3 weeks.
So, and is it because you don't have alcohol in Kava? Be honest.
I don't have any alcohol. We're not allowed to.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, you're not sleeping well.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. This next week's gonna be so fun because we get nothing except for what we're allowed to bring for the week, and it's gonna be 108.
Night Mage, love you.
My roommate has Kava. Should I try it?
As what?
It's a fun time. It's a fun time. Kava's a fun time.
What's Kava?
It's this root that they make like kind of a tea with in like the Pacific Islands, and it calms you the fuck down.
Like kratom.
But do I get?
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of a similar effect. Yeah.
Yes.
Do I get to see?
It tastes nasty. It tastes
and
nasty.
Just like kratom, it tastes nasty. You can't take it all the time. You have to watch how much you consume.
No, I can't.
Yeah, do not take it with alcohol because it'll fuck up your liver.
And check for drug interactions because I just did and I should not.
Well, they're similar, Gur.
Yeah, be careful. Really it's cytochrome interactions, so yeah, be careful. If you have drugs that are metabolized by cytochrome P450s, I don't know the specific one that Kava uses, but be careful.
Do you know how long I took kratom and drank with it? No one ever told me that.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, but I do use kratom to supplement. I use kratom to supplement my breakthrough pain medication because it does help a little.
It does. It'll take the edge off of some things.
I told you guys about the time I got pimped by my attending about Tylenol and alcohol. It was like one of the best conversations I had with an attending because, like, you know how everyone says, like, don't take Tylenol and drink. Well, this was it's a very specific toxicology situation. If you have somebody who is a chronic heavy drinker and they take, so the most intimidating thing is when your attending like gives you a scenario, looks you in the eye and says, "Hurry up, doctor, I'm waiting. What are you gonna do?" God. So this is what happened. So he gives me the scenario. He was telling his own story about there was a time he took like 40 something Tylenols at one time, and he was drinking a lot. He was a chronic alcoholic, and he says, "Why didn't I die?" And he's just like staring at me. He's like, "Come on, doctor, give me the answer." And I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, I have no clue what's going on. And he's like, "Well, they're both metabolized by CYP2E1, I believe. And the thing is, you don't use cytochromes to metabolize alcohol unless you're a chronic heavy drinker. And the way acetaminophen has toxicity is through metabolism to active metabolites. So what happened was, what normally he would have metabolized all of that and it would have, killed him. But since he was drinking, the alcohol outcompeted CYP2E1, took the place, and so it metabolized the acetaminophen a lot more slowly. So it actually saved him to drink heavy while taking it. So if you are a chronic heavy drinker and you've been drinking while using Tylenol, you have to keep drinking while using Tylenol.
All right, so Ben, I've jumped in because
Purple said the weed.
I've seen a couple things in the chat that I align with. So I don't smoke. I don't smoke weed because I turn into a crackhead. I get paranoid as fuck. So I can't. Like I'm. Last time I got high, like I nail blankets over windows because I think the FBI is after me. Right? Like I can't fuck with weed. Right? But I'm seeing all this other shit like these. Javas, lavas, davas, mavas, all this. Like this is new to me. I've been away from the game for a while. So What are these things that are going to help me be sleepy?
Kava's pretty helpful for that.
I would say the red strain of kratom. It's good for pain, and it does help sleepiness.
I was just thinking that. Yes, red. It's called what's it called? It's red something, isn't it? Anyways, it's literally like the powder is red instead of green, if I remember correctly.
Okay, but
there's like three different like main species or types of kratom. Like I did some research on this stuff when I started taking it. There's green, there's white, and there's red, and like each one acts slightly differently. One of them is like more of a stimulant, like kind of like coffee. One of them is more like make you feel a little bit like loopy, like a little like more of an upper type, and then the red is it helps more with pain and it's more of a downer.
Yeah.
Okay,
because I know that the people that harvest the kratom and kava and stuff, they'll chew on the leaves as they're harvesting it, and it keeps them like pain free, and they feel healthier and they feel better, and they work at a better pace and everything, and they're all happy and whatever. So they let the workers at the fields that harvest that stuff, they let them chew on the leaves.
All right, so you guys, it's somebody with extreme insomnia. Like I'm getting insomniac blue balls right now. When we're talking about sleep,
I love blue balls.
What we're talking about.
Now, Oz, I have really bad insomnia also. I mean, really bad. I'm on trazodone. I take like 4 pills a night, and sometimes I can't even sleep. So I supplement my stuff with a little bit of weed, and if that doesn't work, then I take kratom, the red kratom, because the pain it relaxes you enough for me anyway that I'm able to slip into that.
Right, but what is that? That's what I'm trying to get down to. What is kratom? What's this Java, lava, dava? Like this is all new to me. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, more to the point. Can somebody provide a link, for a source for the stuff? Because I know if I just go and Google it, you never know what you're going to get and whether or not the stuff's reliable.
Yes, Purple. Thank you. Yeah, Purple said it way better than I said it. Thank you.
I got it.
Sorry, here in Oregon, we just buy it. We just go to the store and buy it. So
yeah, in most states, you can just go buy it at like a lot of vape shops sell it. Like you don't need a license or anything. It's legal to buy just at a convenience store. So this one was actually a sample. When my sister worked at a vape shop, they sold kratom and CBD products, and one of the reps brought in this, and so she got a bunch of samples of it, and this is one I've been using, and it's been really good.
Oh yeah, Bali, that's it. Thank you. I knew there was something else in the name. Bali Red, yeah.
Yeah. It's the red strain of kratom, and these, rather than having to take it as like a tea where you really taste it.
Oh, it's horrible. Did you get the capsules?
Yeah, these are capsules. Yeah, so they're dissolving gel cap. You get a little bit of that vitamin like aftertaste, for a few minutes after taking it, but it's not too bad. So it's just
there you go. I'm putting
a little capsule, and there's a powder inside the gelatin capsule. Yeah. And I was actually going to take some, so I was digging it out for a reason.
I'll take the vitamin aftertaste every day, every time over the actual taste of doing kratom in a tea. It's disgusting.
I wouldn't do it in a tea ever. Like, I mean, I would get to the point where I'd get empty gel caps and fill it myself.
It is nasty. Definitely pay the extra $1 and just get the fucking gel caps. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, get the capsules, because if you've ever taken a multivitamin where it's in a capsule, like you might get that like herby taste at the back of your throat for a few minutes, but it's minor. You drink something and it goes away. It's no problem.
I say the same thing when I eat shrooms. Just eat the shrooms. Don't worry about the like putting on a sandwich or in caps. Just eat the shrooms. But Uncle Beck, if you can, real quick, my smart ass friend, Secular Rarity, put up a comment. It says sexual rarity or scarcity on his part Kratom is literally a plant. Can you pull that little comment
up? Yeah, that was actually why I jumped on, man. I wanted to educate.
You better come in here and own your smart ass shit.
I wanted to educate.
Yeah,
sexual what?
So sexual irrelevancy,
irrelevant,
sexual irrelevancy.
I'd say irreverency personally, because he's very irreverent.
So he's going to LOL me in the side chat and say, Oz, this is very obviously just a plant. This is just a plant. Now, sexual.
Don't you dare, Jenna.
Irrelevity. He does know that I'm a city boy. I don't know about plants and roots and this shit unless it is something that got people high, because I used to sell that shit back.
It does.
All I know.
Yeah, depending on the strain, it can.
That's the point.
Make
it
you
does.
A little bit loopy.
But that wasn't a thing. I'm way older than you.
Well, hang on. Let me explain.
Hold on. You come in and talk about LOL. So we're going to do this. Before we go any further, you have to do the secular rarity dance, or else Uncle Beck already said we're just shutting down the stream.
I haven't had enough kratom yet. Hang on.
Okay, kick him out. Let me kick him. We're not putting
real
up
quick.
Can
I put a link in the private chat for you. It is an Australian link, but I do think it has some of the best info I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, so kratom has, due to the color of the vein in the center of the leaf, it will have different alkaloids that will ultimately present to us as a different color. Those different alkaloids will either give you more of a euphoric feeling, uppity, kind of energizing, or a muscle relaxing, kind of sleepy time feel. And it's similar to cannabis in that way. Like if you just grab a nug off of a pot plant, a cannabis plant, sometimes it'll make you kind of more uppy in your head, and sometimes it'll make you kind of more sleepy in your body. And those are just the easy breakdown ways of understanding. But it's totally different due to the actual chemicals inside the plant. So kratom is an opioid. And it has found,
that's what I was getting down to.
It's had limited effect in terms of helping individuals detox or get off of harder, more physiologically problematic opioids.
Like heroin.
I still believe, yes, they have some very basic level things that seem to be helpful.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, it is very much at most supplementary. And again, like at most, like most of the time it's like I was doing 12 other things in a hospital, and I also had some kratom.
So what I've just learned is that the guy that got me introduced me to, as far as actually doing stand-up comedy, what I'm learning is he's still correct. Comedy has given me the best result so far, because he said doing stand-up is like having sex and doing heroin or opiate at the same time. And the more I do it, the better I sleep, the more happy I am. So I guess he was.
Yeah, I mean, high on life is a drug all its own for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm high on life.
But I saw Farron asked if you can get addicted to it. Yes, you can for sure.
It's a full agonist. It looks like I'm trying to confirm.
It's playing on those exact same pathways, is my understanding. Whereas with cannabis and the chemical compounds that are CBD and THC and the 100 of varieties that those are actually playing on a completely different system in the body. Doesn't mean that they don't ultimately interact with some of the major systems, but they go through a different system first. So they act differently in the body. So you're unlikely to get a similar paranoia because of that. THC definitely has those qualities. So.
Actually, I stand correct. It is I was looking at a couple different sources that disagreed. It does look like it's a partial agonist, which does matter, especially if you're a person that let's say you're a person that used opioids and got withdrawals, you don't necessarily want to use a partial agonist, depending, because you might experience some of those. But otherwise, it could potentially function similarly to like buprenorphine,
which is the main medication I'm on. Buprenorphine patches. That's my round-the-clock medication.
Because that's the mechanism of buprenorphine. And why it's so effective is because it's a partial agonist.
And honestly, I've had withdrawal from the buprenorphine before, where the pharmacy didn't have my medicine in stock, or prior authorization from the insurance company, even though I've been on the same dosage of the same medication for over 8 years. Doesn't matter. Insurance company is going to be a dick. But it sucks, but it is not as bad as some of the withdrawals I've had before. Like getting off of the fentanyl patches that I was on 10 years ago, that was a nightmare.
Those fuckers.
I almost quit life. It was bad.
Yeah. Well, it's even worse with them because you put them on for so many hours, and you have that. And when you're taking a oral tablet capsule, you have a little bit of this, but with the patch, it's steady for so long.
I have 6 days. I changed my patch every 6 days.
The thing.
And
people on oral medicine, they have more of a roller coaster than you do. So when you pull off somebody that's not used to the roller coaster anymore, it's even worse, I think, in my opinion.
Well, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as like a full antagonist or somebody fully coming off.
The withdrawal is nowhere near as bad.
No, it's definitely a lot better because you're getting partial activity at the mu receptor, but you're getting less so because it's kind of inhibiting the blockage, but not always.
So the way that it was explained to me was basically, if an opiate, like a full agonist opiate, like if your opiate receptors in your brain are a light switch, then your fentanyl, morphine, oxycodone, those flip the switch on. Whereas the buprenorphine, it touches the switch, but doesn't actually turn it on. Like that was how it was explained to me in like a dumbed down way.
It still has a little bit of effect because the agonist, like it's still going to have some activity. It's just not the same level of activity as a full agonist.
But it can send you into withdrawal if you're on high levels of opiates.
Correct.
It can trigger
because
that.
It does have some. Yeah, because you're not getting the full effect. And this is hard to communicate without a graph, because when we're taught this in pharmacology, like we have certain graphs that show like this is the activity of a full agonist, or like this is the activity of a full antagonist, or like it's a concept that's really weird to get used to. But yeah, essentially you're on the right track.
And just to go back to that comment from Brian a second ago, I do think it's about 50-50 again. Believe me, like not anywhere close to medically trained, but I believe we understand enough about chemicals and enough about like the human body to say that there's addiction on, like, it's not, yes, there are some people that are more prone, but also there are some chemicals that we know, like the like crack cocaine. We know cocaine is addictive. That's not like, we don't need to guess. You just go listen to Rick James for a second.
What?
I mean, Oz, am I wrong?
Oh,
well, we'd have to know what you're talking about first, SR. You lost me like 3 minutes ago, bro. I phased out.
Brian had said addiction is more the person than it is the drug.
Oh, actually,
and I was saying it's like a 50-50. I thought it was just good to highlight that there are definitely people that are more prone, but there are also drugs that we know, and I think Kitty just exemplified that by talking about the fentanyl patches and the.
I mean, in both.
I just want to say real quick. I want to say that if you ask anybody that's like therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist type person, they're going to tell you anything that makes you feel good can become an addiction, and it's just the truth.
It seems
because depends on the person. Some people are lean more towards addiction and will fall into it easier than others. Some people, like when I was young, from the time I was 19 to 21, I was doing a bunch of coke and shit just randomly. Sometimes it was like a couple weeks straight, and then I wouldn't touch it for like a year, but I was doing it. And the last time I did it, these guys were like on this 2-week rampage of it, and they were like, "Hey man," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to." And they were like, "What?"
Yeah, see, my
I don't want to. And they were like, "What do you mean?" Like, they couldn't understand. I had to explain to them, I just don't feel like doing cocaine. And they just didn't understand why, because they were all stuck on it. And I was like, I'm just good with weed. I'm not a big cocaine person. I did it some, I'm over it. I don't want to do it
There's differences within people's medial forebrain bundles and their reward pathways. And that's something that we see a lot with certain people that are more prone to addiction. But you also see this in people with different reward variations, including things like eating habits, including things like sexual activity, including other things that just it's not a pathology per se, as much as it is a variation, and then it just depends on other factors as well that would compound upon those variations that you already have.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna have like one person's gonna have like so many variations compared to the guy next to him. Oh my god.
And you see this and you see this in families where but where I'm going with this is you'll see a lot of families where it'll be like a lot of families will end up being very vanilla, where they don't have a lot of variation. Where they end up being a lot of the same time, like a lot of these.
Yeah.
A lot of these.
Did you just gene shame people?
Here's where I'm going with. Here's where I'm going with this. Like, especially people. A lot of these people tend to be in some of these more like conservative religious communities.
Yes.
Like they all notice how a lot of them have very similar personalities, very similar ways of doing, very similar.
Vanilla bean.
They're all very similar. There's not a lot of variation.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have these other families that they seem to have a lot of things going on, a lot of different variations among different people, different reward things, like just a lot more variation. And you see that within these family lines. And it's really weird to talk through, but that's something that was covered on my addiction medicine rotation. Like these people that come in with these more addiction type issues have family lines that are very just different. Like absolutely. Everybody, like you'll see like my history of migraines falls in with this. People who are left-handed falls in with this, like just things that are variations of normal.
Serial killers falls that have been this.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the main guys, I saw this on a Nova special like 4 years ago. One of the main guys that was helping us understand truly what is going on with the brain and the different wirings and stuff. He was looking at a bunch of brain scans from his family that just so also happened 120 years back to have a couple of interesting people that murdered a bunch of people. But he was looking at a couple of those, as well as some brain scans from some famous criminals that were caught over the years. And he found one in his family that he was like really shocked about. And he was like, oh my gosh, I must have got it mixed up, and realized it was his own brain scan. That goes down a whole nother route too, with like how his family, was very loving and brought him in, as opposed to like, bullying him or excluding him and stuff. And that goes a lot to just us as, how we interact, but there absolutely is biological components like this, and we have to take those into account too when it comes to addiction or when it comes to mental health issues. Like they're incredibly important. So
absolutely, and it just hit me, and then says I have to jump off. But as soon as sexual rarity said that, I was like, that's what I've been trying to backtrack to, where the first time I saw his face or heard his voice, and it was on one of those YouTube serial killer videos. That's where that shit was.
I fucking knew it, you bastard. Yeah. We have him trapped now. Somebody grab him.
In fairness, I went by a different name back then. I was in a different state.
Somebody grab him.
We know.
See, he escaped. God damn it! No, I'm just kidding. He's right.
He said I was in a different state. What do you mean? Who's in a different state of mind? But no. Before I jump off, I do want to say thank you guys for allowing me to come on here and talk shit. And
you know what, Oz? You ain't even gotta thank me, bro. I love having you on anytime.
Why? But I'm gonna thank you.
Anyway. Come back.
And next time I'll actually bring up my topic that I didn't bring up.
Okay.
You didn't actually bring up the topic. Wow.
I didn't. I never brought up the topic. But we'll do. And you're never gonna believe it. You're never gonna believe it. But it's going to be Jesus is a myth. But let's save that for next time.
You never ever brought up the topic.
Shut the fuck up.
That we'll save that for next time. But I want to say I appreciate the conversation. Like I said, Deb, I'd love to join you whenever you're ready. And I appreciate these conversations, and I appreciate going on channels and just hanging out and being friends. And we don't have to do philosophy and philosophical lies and jack off to each other's.
Yeah, we don't.
And
who does philosophy? I don't know anyone that likes philosophy.
I don't know anybody either.
Just wanted to say everything you just said is fallacious, Oz. So
logically
invalid.
You know what? Here's this. Here's my reductio ad absurdum, bitch. No, I'm kidding. No, but
ad hominem. Fucking throwing a flag on the play.
That was an ad hominem, absolutely, and I own it. I own it. But no, thank you very much. And as I now tiptoe my way out of the stream, to go back to it, if I pulled up the links and I copied and pasted what Dr. Ben put in the private chat. But what I'm still wanting to know about the previous part of the conversation is which one should be sleepy time, which one is upper time, which because all of these are new words as far as like the lava, Java, Krona, Naman,
The Tiva is the uppy one. Indica is the sleepy one.
All kava. All I know. Kava, the lava.
Kava.
All of the kava is the sleepy time stuff because that's just how that root works. But when it comes to kratom, red for bed.
Red for bed. I always get green and white mixed up. I think white is the upper and green, or is green the upper and white is the
kitty. Think about it like this: red on one side, white on the far side. Green's closer to white, gold's closer to red.
Cocaine is closer to white.
Red, gold, green, white.
So white would be the wake you the fuck up.
I only ever use the red, so I haven't really used the others.
Those are the most gold and red are the most common.
Okay, so why does it only come in Christmas colors?
I don't know. You'll have to
Jesus
have to talk to
is a
Santa
biscuit
about that one.
Jesus is a biscuit. Jesus is a biscuit.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jesus is as I hit the leave studio button.
Wait, hold on. Is it an American biscuit or
Jesus is a
British
snack.
biscuit? What kind of biscuits we talking about? The real biscuits or the fake biscuits?
The communion biscuits?
Either one right now, dude. I'm kind of hot.
No, I mean like the American nice fluffy biscuits or the UK gross crunchy biscuits.
Was it these?
And before I go, I have to ask one last question. Sexual rarity, the gumball machine in the back. How much does Uncle Beck have to pay you to eat one of those gumballs?
They are marbles.
Or marbles.
So
I already
cost
knew
a
that.
lot of money. It will cost a lot of money. And I'll have to double, triple check with Ben about the circumference of an object at which the human being can actually swallow and pass.
SR,
there are different sizes. I'm not saying for me. I'm saying for a friend, Ben. If somebody were to eat a marble,
I have to say,
how big could they eat the marble?
I have to give the disclaimer. So I know that I'm going to be roommates with SR at Better, but I am not. I repeat, I am not going to extract a marble from your airway. Okay.
Well,
please
so
do
this
not make
is
me do
so this is the thing. This is the thing. You can help me out right now by just telling me the diameter of a marble that is unsafe to eat. I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm saying hypothetically.
I'm not going to do this.
You know what I think would happen? This is what I think. I think you would swallow it. It would go through your entire digestive system and get lodged in your ass. And at that moment in your life, you're going to think, God, I wish I was gay and that was stretched out more.
No, what you're gonna do is it's gonna become a projectile. That's what's gonna happen.
I will.
It's gonna be a projectile.
You gotta stick your finger in there and like pry it out.
In that moment, I really hope I have some kratom.
Okay, no, I have a joke. This whole thing reminds me of a joke, so I'm gonna tell it before you go. So, this guy walks into a bar with a monkey on his shoulder. The monkey runs over to the bar, grabs a peanut, pops it in his mouth, and swallows it. He runs over to an ashtray, grabs a cigarette butt, pops it in his mouth, swallows it. Runs over to the pool table, grabs the cue ball, pops it in his mouth, swallows it. A couple weeks later, the guy comes back. The monkey jumps off his shoulder, grabs the peanut, sticks it up his butt, and then swallows it. Grabs a cigarette butt, sticks it up his butt, and swallows it. And the bartender's like, "What's that monkey doing?" After the cue ball incident, he checks everything for size first.
That's good.
You're welcome.
That is good. I haven't heard that.
Wow.
He's like, wait a minute, that one will come out.
And sexual rarity, just to leave on this note. Now I feel like I'm the saint. I feel like I'm the saint. I was just gonna say you are as a skeptic, as an atheist, just promoting false marketing and false narratives and false equivocations, but they took it to way different levels than I was going to take it to. So I love y'all. And next time we'll talk about Jesus.
Oh no,
Jeebus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not talk about Jeebus.
I heard he's a myth.
You cannot talk about him.
He is a fucking myth. Hashtag. And if you need reservations or tickets to Better, you can simply go to jesusisamyth.com and purchase your reservations there.
I'm gonna be roommates with SR.
Literally, that's terrible, Shane. That's terrible.
I'm scared for the world.
Yeah. There's gonna be some cool
you
people.
Totally.
You
fuckers get together and you're drinking and shit, and you don't fucking like FaceTime me. I will be so pissed off.
We will not be eating marbles at Better.
We
will not be eating marbles.
We will not be doing that.
No, we're not eating marbles.
And just remember tonight.
And nobody's sticking them up their bum holes either.
No.
Remember tonight.
You're welcome for that.
The guy on the avatar, the picture with me. Just remember, his name is Sean. He's one of my favorite human beings I ever met. And if you want to find a very, very quick way to leave religion, keep all the dicks in your mouth. Keep all of the dicks in your mouth, and you will exit religion.
I love you, Oz. Have a good night, buddy.
It's
he
a great
was talking about that when he first came in.
The great exit line, I gotta say.
He was like, I had to leave religion, and Oz was like, why? Basically, is what he said. And he's like, why? And the guy goes, I just couldn't keep a dick out of my mouth.
So Tubi and I have a response to you actually. So you know how like some people say nuclear instead of nuclear. I think this is the case with I think this is the case with it's secular.
So Oz, I think Oz was the first person who called me sexual rarity once. Just being silly, and then y'all took it on, and I proudly wear it. There is a Scottish man out there, and I know this is going to sound a little strange, but there is a Scottish fella out there who's a really good guy, and I haven't talked to in a minute now, and I hope to say hey to again. But every time he sees me, he has trouble saying my name, and so he always calls me something. And so, like, one time I came on and he's like, "Oh, Spectacular Clarity is here," and I was like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" And then
oh, I love it though.
Oh my gosh, there was
hilarious.
Like he listed off like 6 of them at once one time, and it was just so pleasant. And I thought about changing the name to at least a few of them. There was something about something hairpiece,
sexual disparity.
It was something hairpiece.
The new Benedict Cumberbatch.
I'm okay with that. I don't exactly. I mean, I know who Benedict Cumberbatch is. I don't know why. Are people calling him by a lot of different weird names?
No, like everyone, like ever since he was on Sherlock, his fandom kept giving him names because his name sounds so funny. So they're like,
then yes, I love that. I think that's great, and I'm happy to be associated with him. So
I just think of My Little Ponies.
That's what a lot of people have told me. A lot of people have told me. Yeah, a lot of people have told me, "Do you watch My Little Pony?" And I was like, "No, I actually don't." But now I know that there is a pony that has something to do with Rarity, and so like every so often somebody will say something. They'll say like, "I think I understand that reference," and I'll go, "Are you going to mention My Little Pony?" And they go, "Oh my God, you watch it!" And I was like, "No, I just know that that's a thing. No, I just picked.
Here we go again.
I picked two random words and put them together."
Okay, so here's some of the names for Benedict Cumberbatch. You ready? Okay, so there's Butterfree Cat and Hat, Buffalo Custard Bath, Benadryl Slumber Catch, Crumble Spork Fanny Patch. I think my favorite one was Bendy Dick Come Up Your Ass.
Oh my God.
Those are all great, honestly. I enjoy all of them. Like,
well, I mean, if I can't say anything, people still lick toads for a buzz. I have
if I can't say anything.
Tastes like chicken?
Later.
Hey, Rex.
Tastes like chicken. Nice, Sadie.
Hey, Rex.
Oh,
Rex. Where'd he go?
He left.
I was trying to ask him what he said.
Oh.
Where'd he go?
Testicular rotisserie, says Stool.
That's a good one, Stool. Honestly, it's the Brits that come up with the best ones.
Rex.
They have a different way with words. Yeah,
Yes,
they have a different way with words than we, folks over here in the U.S. do. But it's poetry.
How's your onion doing, the Stool?
He said it
Mine
at
or
the beginning of the session.
Ben, did you let Rex in? Or did I let Rex in?
I think you let Rex in.
You gave Rex a link. Beck, you gave
No. I meant like clicked him to bring him into the stream.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me.
I didn't realize he'd been sitting there for a while then.
Oh yeah. So tonight my kiddo.
I'm trying to eat and do 10 things. Sorry.
I'm gonna need to go here in a little bit, but I'll hang out for a couple minutes.
What time is it?
Here it's 22:30.
11:30 Eastern.
Yeah. We'll go to the top of the hour and then we're gonna kill it because I have to go to bed.
Oh,
okay. I'll hang out till we.
My kiddo just messaged me like a half hour ago and says, "Mom, I think I'm just gender fluid. I feel like a man and a boy and a girl." And I was like, "Oh, so you're like me?"
That's adorable.
That's shocking.
Right. I'm like, I was not surprised.
Well, I told you what I said to my kid when he told me he was trans, right?
You're not just gender fluid, and they're like, "No, I'm trans." I'm like, "Are you sure?"
They'll figure it out one step at a time. They'll go whatever direction makes them happy.
I am both trans and gender fluid.
Mm-hmm.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, they said they weren't trans. I didn't. That's what I suspected.
Well, Purple saying you can be one or the other, or you can be both.
Yeah, you can be both, but they're not both.
Right.
They're little me. I made a mini me and I knew it.
Like I can't get over the fact like my son always has his iPad on him, and I set him up his own because he's getting older now. I mean, emotionally he's still like 4 or 5, even though he's actually 8 because of his autism. He's just a little delayed in his emotional maturity, but he's clever with like electronics. So I set him up with his own iTunes account, and now he can basically, whenever he's got Wi-Fi, he can FaceTime me. So like if I go to the store and I'll be like, all right, I'll be back. I got to run to the store. And then he'll FaceTime me and be like, Mom, I want a treat. And I'm like, okay, baby, what would you like? And like, it melted my heart because I was like, okay. And then he called me back and stayed on the phone with me, showing me him building his Legos while I was in the grocery store. I'm like, oh, my heart is melting.
Aw, he's your little buddy. That's sweet.
Don't fuck with like fucking
I know.
I would go to jail.
Can I just say one thing?
I would go to jail.
If anybody wants to hang out on my channel and then they go over and fucking insult somebody about their kids and how they're raising them, shut your fucking mouth and leave them the goddamn alone. And I bet you if you're pointing fingers, you're probably a worse parent. So suck my dick if you're going to talk to people like that in our community. I don't appreciate that at all. You don't fucking bring up anybody's kids. These kids are not on the stream. They are under 18. Keep your mouth shut about other people's kids. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
All together, you leave everyone's family members out of it.
Yeah, it's none of your fucking business. Like, literally, none of anybody's business.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always the ones in glass houses that want to throw stones.
Oh, absolutely,
Right?
kid. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you were talking about that. He's definitely in a glass house, and he already broke some of the fucking panels.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, you want to shit talk me?
Fucking dick.
That's fine. Like I don't care. You want to fucking rag on me for not having money. Okay, I'm disabled and our family lives on a single income. We get by, but whatever. You want to do that dick move, but whatever. I don't care. The minute you bring my child into it and say that I'm a bad parent and that I should be in jail and mock my autistic child because he needs good nights. So, because
where's this happening?
Sometimes my son has
accidents. The bad thing is that guy has an autistic son.
So we put like the good nights. We put the good nights on my son just in case. Like he hasn't had accidents in a while, but it's a lot easier to be like proactive and just put on the nighttime underwear before you go to bed just in case. And like I'm not going to shame him for, not being able to fully control his bladder in his sleep. That's not his fault, And it's one of those things like to literally be like, oh, your child's still running around in diapers. It's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, he's also mentally. Oh my God. Okay, so this is here. Yeah. I got one thing to say before you go any further, because some people are going to leave here soon, and I want to put this out there. I am not one to judge beyond my own opinion and take action on someone else's actions or opinions. I usually keep my mouth shut. I just see it as people are who they are. We can agree to disagree. This person has also said that he wanted to kill the trans woman he was dating.
Who is this that you're talking about?
And hold on. No. Okay. No. And has said if they saw any trans person, they would just go ahead and kill them. This same person who said all that shit to Kitty and about Kitty, the same person who, after hanging out on my channel for months, basically went off on me, and I was polite through the whole thing, and he was an absolute dickhead to me. And said I was horrible because I made a joke that I'd been making for 3.5 months, and it was always funny until there was all straight guys and him on my panel.
Real quick.
And I made that dick sucking joke, and he had a fucking fit.
He sent me the screenshots of the DMs.
I catch him lying constantly. He needs to get the fuck out of our community. I have never said this before, and I'll probably never say it again. I don't think it's my right to say that. I'm fucking done with that prick. That I'm going to tell you.
Now,
he needs to get the fuck out of our community. He's a fucking asshole. He's a hater. He's fucking manipulative. He is everything we don't fucking need. He needs to go hang out with the goddamn TERFs and the Christians, because he doesn't fit in here. So, Godless Sony, if you happen to see this, you piece of shit, get the fuck out of our community. We're done with you.
Wow.
I'm done with him.
Real quick.
It's too much. What he's doing to Kitty is too much. I read that shit myself.
I want to say real quick.
Go ahead.
He sent me screenshots of your text exchange to read it, and you were. I can attest. Like, he sent me those screenshots, and I can attest that you were chill.
Is you were sounding like a child, because he was literally picking on me like a child when I was trying to discuss it with him. I was being totally calm and mature, and he was picking at me, and I said, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, and he not only did he bring into question my queerness, which, first off, nobody can know one way or another. Like, just because I'm in a heterosexual relationship, that doesn't have anything to do with, like, it's bi erasure is what it is. It's like, what, because I'm not dating a woman, I'm not bisexual.
I don't think he's gay at all. I think he fucking says it so he's accepted in our fucking community. I think he lies all the. I know he lies all the time. I catch him and lies all the time. I hear him on Purple Street telling a story that he's told me 30 fucking times because it's something that's bragging about himself because that's all he can talk about is himself, and he tells it different. The guy I work with does it too. I catch him all the fucking time. He lies within a 2 fucking sentence space.
But
things I don't notice
is he will shit talk people behind their backs. Like he fucking misgendered you. Like we were having a conversation after one of Purple's streams.
I won't misgender him. He's a pussy bitch.
It was the last time that, one of the last times that I actually spoke to him, after a stream. And the whole blow up with him where he went after me for my financial situation, and going after my kid, mentioning that and everything. It all started with me saying to him, I'm glad to see that, you're getting along well with Jenny because of like the history there. There was some bad blood between the two of them. And I was like, I'm glad to see you're getting along well. And that, because he was like, yeah, I'm doing me. I'm focused on me. I'm happy. I'm not letting anything bother me. I'm like, I'm glad to see that, like you're doing well. You're getting along with people and you let bygones be bygones and everything. And he's like, now she's still a fucking bitch, blah, 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 blah. And then he went in on you, Beck, and was like, well, just a man-hating lesbian. I see it all the time, and it's like,
dude, I'd bend a guy over and fuck him, but I sure as hell wouldn't touch that nasty fuck. Never in a million years. You wish you could get something this good in bed.
I had said, my exact words to him were, I'm glad to see that, you've gotten over the issues with Jenny and that things are copacetic because you had said some nasty things and, there was bad blood and I'm glad. And then he sends me a DM insulting me, and saying that I had said I had called him turfy when I had said nasty, but it's a little telling at that slip there. And, he was like, that's when he started insulting me, but he would send a message to insult me and then block me so I couldn't reply. But I wasn't going to reply anyway because I wasn't going to waste my time. I don't like drama. And the reason that I didn't speak out about, this stuff is when he was just insulting me, having his little temper tantrums, I just ignored it. But it went all the way back to when Jen, Will, and I were doing a show together. He was constantly having blow-ups and being toxic. And that was one of the reasons the show imploded. And I just let it go. The threats that he made, I knew about them, but they were told to me in private. And it wasn't my place to say something. But then I spoke to that person that told me. I
already knew about it.
I showed them the tweet that I was sending out today when I made my tweet going through some of this stuff. And I wanted to get their blessing because I was like, I don't know if there's going to be any blowback on you, but he crossed the red line for me. Like he fucking brought my kid to it and I need to say something and I can't just not say something publicly because this is a bridge too far,
I hadn't planned to make a public announcement on it, but let's just say he's not going to be on my show any longer.
Kitty and I were discussing that in DMs.
And I'm not going to go into the details.
Yeah. No, Kitty and I were talking on the DMs, and I just was honest with her, Purple. I just said I tried to go on once on Purple stream with him, and I just wanted to smack him. He was like, me, and picking on people. And I mean, what are you, fucking 12? Grow the fuck up. Like Ben and I will tease each other a little bit, or Bolton me and Bolton Ben. We all joke around a little bit, but we don't sit on the street picking on each other. Yeah. Grow the fuck up, man.
And to insult my parenting, saying that I'm a bad enough parent to deserve to go to jail, which is just a really terrible thing to say. Like,
well, that was definitely way over the line.
But, that's why too. And he went off on me. It was a total fucking.
When you're letting your kid
I have all the
play
screenshots just in case.
When you're letting your kid play with guns and watch like right-wing propaganda, like and consume that, like that concerns me. Because like I'm just saying, like I have concerns. Like it's like don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Like I am not perfect. My disability makes it hard for me to do things some days where it's like my son wants me to go do something with him. And I'm like, baby, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm in a lot of pain. And I feel bad about that. But that doesn't make me a bad parent. And that doesn't mean I should go to jail for it. And the fact that my son needs good nights in case he has an accident there's nothing wrong with him. He's autistic. He's a little bit behind developmentally. Oh, well, like
if we want to talk about being a bad parent, we should talk about the fact that his son has a crossbow and several knives and some kind of spear in his room, and he broke a full-length, tall, antique mirror, and it shattered everywhere, and Will thought it was funny. Your child's autistic. It's not fucking funny. Teach him better. He's going to hurt someone by accident, and he's not a little kid.
Or going around telling people to suck him off kind of thing.
4 or 6 inches taller than he should be and about 50 pounds. He is going to be a big dude. It's going to be ugly. But I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to judge him for his parenting. All I'm saying is what I heard, and what I heard from him did not make me very fucking happy about. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that his child has said are vastly inappropriate. We'll just say.
Yeah, I was giving him a lot of slack. I mean, that the biggest blow up, he was saying that, well, they were changing his meds and that. Okay, I know how that shit can affect some people. And, if anything, I just, I gave him a pass on too many things, but, it's just, it goes on. It's a pattern month after month.
So he just used the med excuse on you. Yeah.
I think that's the real, like I was listening to, I don't know if any of y'all saw Jim Atheist Edge, his stream just the other day with Godless Granny and Tracy and Matt Dillahunty about cancel culture and when is it too far and when is it not far enough and where are we just holding people accountable and where are we just demonizing and having a witch hunt and so forth. But I think that's and I haven't, like I don't know, I've never interacted with this person, but I've seen them on a bunch of streams because I've watched so many things that so many people here have done for a while now. And with that being said, I think what all of y'all are saying is where the line should be, right? It's like one time somebody says something or there's like a joke that, okay, like, yeah, that probably wasn't a good joke. And it was uncomfortable that there were
apologized and never done it again.
Well,
that's the difference.
And there were people here that had never hung out with you before and stuff. All of that, absolutely. But a pattern over a couple of months around a certain thing is the point at which, and especially after a straight up confrontation of, hey, this is too far, and that person not even recognizing that it is causing negative emotions and feelings with other people.
Well, and
whether or not they agree entirely, right? That's a whole, we can have that weeks long discussion.
I just want to add to it. Yeah. What you're saying, because you said months. Him and I got into it a year and 3 months ago. This shit's been going on for almost a year and a half with him. That's why I'm done.
That's a long time.
A year and 3 months, at least, that I know of.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Because him and I got into it and fell out about a month or two before I met Ben. I think about 2 months before I met Ben.
That's a while.
And it's been almost a year that I've known Ben.
Yeah.
And
again,
was before that. Yeah,
and again, it's not to say
it's been over
that.
a year, man. How much should we put up with before we say enough's enough? Is my problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We just have to. There's no reasoning. There's no adult discussion. He goes right into childish crap, insulting, poking fun of. He's better than you. He has more money. You're poor. You're not good enough. He's better. Like, that's all he fucking does over and over again.
And I'm sorry.
I'm just done with it. He started out by threatening one of our trans people in our community with killing her. So no, I'm not okay with it anymore. It's gone too fucking far for too long.
Fortunately, the threats that he made were impotent and empty because, one, he could not harm that person because they're on the other side of the globe. And as far as I know, he never acted on the threat of going to find a random trans person to harm.
That's not the fucking point. We don't know. He could have went out and fucking jumped somebody and beat the shit out of him just for the hell of it. We wouldn't know.
Saying, as far as we know, just for clarity's sake, as far as we know, the threat was made and it was never acted upon. And the person he threatened directly was not harmed. That's all I was trying to get at. Like, as far as we know, it was an impotent threat.
Yeah. And I think I think that is a good point.
To even
but I also
say anything like that.
Yeah. I think it's worth saying that, but it is also worth saying that we should never be in a space where we are absolutely unequivocally advocating for harm of other people for any reason. I understand. Look, I get mad at Nazis too. Like a lot of really reasonable thinking people seem to dislike that ideology of Nazis, and I agree with that. But I don't want to punch a Nazi in the face. I'm going to say that because I don't want to live in a world where we are advocating violence for people, because unfortunately, the world that we currently lives in advocates for violence against some of the most easy to advocate for violence against groups.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, what that equates to is human beings being targeted and being killed in the streets. And we've seen this. We don't have to try very hard. There are multiple groups of people that I can think of off the top of my head. Indigenous women in the United States.
Oh gosh, yes.
Are literally. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me say one thing before you change the topic, and then I'll let you run on with it, because that's a topic that we need to talk about anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go soon because I have my
not going to stay on
tomorrow.
very much longer. I'm going to do like 10 more minutes. We're done.
Okay.
So I am in no way, shape, or form saying approach them, say something, attack them verbally, or no. I just want everybody to block him. I want everybody to cancel him in our community. That's what I want. And I will talk about it everywhere because I don't give a fuck and I'm not scared of him. I don't give a shit.
Down to it, there are sometimes people should be canceled. There are times there are toxic elements of a community that should be excised and just kind of.
I have been in this community for 3 fucking years now, and this is the first time I have ever said this. I have always just blocked people and left it alone and just been like, we don't get along. Yeah. This is too much. It's too much.
And
it's gone too long. It's too much.
That really was all I was getting at. Is there is a point in time when there is a pattern, and it's really not you can't debate it anymore. It's just there's so many pieces of evidence that all have the same fucking thread that you have to say this is not something that we can tolerate anymore, whether it's a person and their actions or whether it's a lack of actions on a systemic basis. We absolutely just have to have a point at which that we say there is moral accountability, and it's right fucking here.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I mean,
and Jer was asking where this happened with me and Kitty. It happened through DMs, and I have all the screenshots, and so does she, and we shared them with each other. She's read mine, I've read hers. So there's no, like, we discussed this for a while before I came on stream. Because I don't take anything
I was
like
gonna let it go. Again, when he was just insulting me, like talking about the threats, it wasn't my place because I didn't want to break the confidence, because I hadn't gotten permission to speak about it, because the threats were not made to me. They were made to someone else that I trust completely, that was dating the person.
Yeah, they made the decision how to handle it, and we all respected that person.
And so I wasn't getting involved in that. And then when he would make petty things and say nasty things about people, I just let it go, because I'm like, he's just an asshole. He would say nasty things to me. I just let it go. He's just being an asshole. But
he has to down everybody and make himself feel better.
And again, like, he brought my child into it. It's like, okay, you can be mad at me. You want to make fun of me for being disabled and poor. Fine. Hell, even you want to fucking, say I'm not actually bi, that I'm lying. It's wrong, but you know what? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Say whatever you want.
Right.
It's targeting me. But he brought my child into it. And
that's what
set me off, because I don't like drama. I really don't. I don't like conflict, like with the trauma and the history I have from my ex-husband. Conflict really fucks me up. I get really bad anxiety from conflict. So I don't want to deal with it. That's why I just kind of ignore it, and I just go about my life, and I try to pretend like it's not happening, but again, like, he brought my child into it, and like that, it's much. Just fucking, that's
you mess with the kids. For me. You mess with the mama bear kid.
On Jur, you can literally go back and see and watch any stream he's been on and see him picking and insulting people and putting people down. It's what he does every fucking time.
I posted a long Twitter thread basically giving the Cliff's Notes versions of what we just discussed on my Twitter earlier today after I got the blessing from the person that told me about the threats that it was okay to speak about it. Okay. I posted, I actually saved the draft of the tweet thread that I posted today and I sent it to the person. I was like, I want to post this, you know, but because it mentions these threats, I don't know if there could be blowback for you. So I want your blessing before I say it, because I didn't want to just give part of it. I wanted to talk about everything. So once I got their blessing, I said, okay. And I hit send, and he's probably going to come after me again.
Just
but
block him. You can't do anything if you guys all block him. You won't even know he exists anymore.
But here's the thing. He's kind of a little bitch about it, because he'll send a nasty, insulting message and then immediately block you so you can't reply. I mean, like, that is the smallest.
See, that's why I said block
energy.
him first, because I'm going to tell you right now, you know what he wants? He wants people to pay attention to him. He wants you to send him messages. But if everybody just blocks him on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere that you can see him at, anywhere you see him, block him, and everybody just ignores him, it'll fuck his world up, because he can't handle being ignored. He's going to be the center of attention.
I have a policy of I don't block people. Like, I don't have anybody on my block list, but I might make an exception.
I only have 2, and he's 1. I can't even remember the first one. It was just some fucking piece of shit.
In nearly 4 years on Twitter, I think I'm up to blocking 3 people.
No, 2. I do have 2. Yeah, the other asshole that attacked me recently.
There is a stream. It's from over a year ago. I'll see if I can go back and find it. I don't know if it's still on Jen's channel or not, but where some of this conflict started on a stream like a year and a half ago, and it was when me and Jenny and Jen and Will were on there, and Jenny used a word that, while it predates the N-word, it sounds like the N-word, and that set Will off. And like, I understood him being upset there. Yeah. But then after that was when he started threatening harm against not only his girlfriend at the time for not backing him up enough while he was having his meltdown, and saying he wanted to go find a random trans person to harm, and that he wanted to harm Jenny and Purple. And it was really toxic. And I'm like, I didn't want to deal with it. Like, and I'm sorry, I should have maybe spoken out then a little bit more, but like, it's still high COVID and like anxiety from just conflict. I don't do well with conflict. So I just kind of let it go. And then, you know, Will said it was because of his medications, and I was like, okay, I guess, you know, and I just ignored it. And there wasn't anything like that, you know, again for a little while, and I thought things were fine. But then it went back to just literally tearing people down, like in DMs or in offline chats, like when everybody hangs out in StreamYards after the stream is over, and just saying like really heinous things. And it was like this roller coaster of sometimes he'd be nice, other times he'd be just fucking disgusting. And, you know, letting his kid run around saying like rather raunchy things, you know, as well, which bothered me quite a bit, honestly, because a 13-year-old boy should not be saying some of these things. And just, it's just so much. And like, it's been going on for a year and a half, but if I can find that stream, if it's still up, that was one of the catalysts for this. But to be fair, he had been having these meltdown tantrums and being incredibly toxic and vilely, you know, verbally abusive, you know, even before then. It's just that was the catalyst that kind of set him off on attacking Purple and attacking Jenny and Jen, you know, at least in that instance.
I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but
So,
I have
yeah,
to go to
no,
bed.
I
I'm
don't know
starting
where-
not to feel so good. So
I don't know where Beck went, but I have a final tomorrow for this class, and basically, if I fail this test and I fail the retake, I have to come back and do this course again.
No,
Everybody here knows how much you got this.
Yeah.
You got this fucking test because you're a badass. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Wrap
get
it
as
up.
much sleep as
If
you
Beck's
can.
not here, I'm gonna end the stream because I don't know if he's coming back. Oh, there he's back. Okay,
Okay.
But
either way,
because I gotta go. But I go to the field on Friday, so I'm not gonna have any contact with any of y'all for the next week after tomorrow. So
I will be available.
If y'all want to say hi,
6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and then
yeah, I'll chat tomorrow evening. Otherwise, like my mental health is garbage right now. So I appreciate support tomorrow before I go do this shindig out in the middle of nowhere.
Just remember one thing: you beat some serious ass in school. The Army is nothing compared to. I fucking went through the enlisted version. It's thinking of what you. This is going to be like a fucking vacation for you compared to what you've been dealing with. Trust me.
I don't know.
This is not going to be as bad as you think.
The officer side has a lot of things that they want you to know, like logistically and.
Well,
like,
yeah, but I'm telling you, if the Army thought you,
but you're you,
demand you had more time to do it. If they think
you're
you
and you're fucking awesome, man. You got this.
Yeah.
So it's not done yet, but I can give you guys a peek real quick
Rest well, friend.
of what it will look like.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So I can give a little sneak peek of what the lunchbox will look like here, because I still have to put the back on it. But so the front's all done with the double zipper here. And it's got insulated foam in the lining, and then a little front zippered pocket here, like to put utensils or something in, little carrying strap, and then little things. I'm going to make a strap so you can put it over your shoulder.
Man, you do such good work. You really do.
That looks great.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, when you're selling on Etsy, you sell for 4 times your cost.
Okay, good to know.
Because I used to sell online all the time, so it's 4 times your cost. It's one amount for the cost, and one amount for your labor, one amount for like the overhead cost of using Etsy and all of that kind of stuff, and then the other fourth is your profit.
Okay. Do you mind if I maybe DM you, like when I do start to like open the shop, like if I get in touch with you, just like since you've already done the whole selling
and always
online
charge
thing?
them for shipping. Like people that are on Etsy will spend the money or they won't. Like that's just how it is. Like, and don't ever undersell yourself, because I see so many people do that and then they go out of business.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's mostly a hobby, so it's kind of any money I make will just buy more materials to make more stuff. Cause like the feeling of accomplishment of making something and being like, I made that, it gives me a dopamine rush, which, when you deal with chronic pain, you need that.
Yeah. I know a lot of EDSers because my kiddo has EDS, and a lot of them are very creative people because that's all they can do is sit at home and create.
Yeah. Like another thing that I made, I've actually made a bunch of stuff for whenever we do the fundraiser, whenever that happens for Diana. Like I've got a whole bunch of stuff already made just sitting over in the corner. But another thing I made is this little mini backpack here. With this like snakeskin vinyl. Like this I actually made for myself. It was my purse for a while, but then I made a messenger bag instead because I carry a lot of shit on me.
Yeah, I always sell stuff for 4 times the cost of the material, because you need money to replenish your material. You need money to cover your labor, and you need money to invest, and money for like the overhead costs of like being on Etsy or
because they take a cut.
Yep. So and then charge them
not to stop your beautiful conversation.
Sorry.
You can continue it in the background, but I'm ending the stream because I'm tired.
I'm so sorry.
And I still have to pack up my computer shit and then go to bed. So no, you're fine. I know how you guys are. You guys like Kitty and SR do it. They get into conversation, just ping off each other, and it's great. But you have to be stop. Okay, now.
Yeah,
I can't say anything quickly. Yeah, I can't say anything
quickly. But you know what? But honestly, I would never change either one of you for anything. I love you both the way you are, so it's fine. I accept it.
My wallet.
As long as we can always talk about it like adults, we'll be fine. Yeah. All right. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for coming by. I hope everybody has a good evening. thank you for listening to our rants and our thoughts and our civil discussion. Really appreciate all of you, everybody on the panel that was here and is here. I love you guys, and I always appreciate the conversation and the laughs and the brilliance and the opinions, and you guys are great. So, anybody want to say anything real quick before I sign off?
Don't be a dick, and when you see toxic things, wait and not necessarily call it out immediately, because we don't want to like create a problem. But when you see a pattern of behavior, it should be called out, because we shouldn't be hiding and making excuses for toxic elements in our community, because it makes our community weaker as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have amazing people, and I don't want our amazing people
to use that Matthew 18 principle on everybody.
There you go. SR, last word.
Did you change it to sexual reorientation?
Well, no. I I love you all, and I'm always happy to be here. So
I see Stools in the side chat. I was wondering where he was a few minutes ago, because I didn't see any comments about Kitty showing off her lovely box.
Oh God, he missed the whole
They were
thing.
up here.
Okay, Stool, go back and rewind. We're gonna end this. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another.